but he always
All
picks
right,
like
ladies
Roger.
and gentlemen, we are live for the second annual Sunny Days Media Draft Party. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you are new to this, we did this last year. Oh, look, there's. Do you see Eminem on your screen? Are you where I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got
We're
Goodell's talking.
we're trying to figure out who's ahead, who's behind. Due to the I guess time differences here with ESPN NFL Network, but nonetheless, we are here. We're excited. Draft is there in Detroit. We both wish we were there, no doubt about it. Life gets in the way. We're going to give you the next best thing. We are going to break down each pick, talk about team needs, kind of just have fun with it. This is probably unanimously the most exciting day for all NFL fans each year. It's a lot of positivity, a lot of upside. Paul, how are we feeling right now?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty pumped up. It's hard for me to concentrate on this and I think the big thing for me is that it's in Detroit right now. This is more than just who the Lions take. It's how Detroit reps itself. Look at this. They're bringing Amon St. Brown here, Hutch out here. Like, this is tough to concentrate and break down bad picks by other teams. This is Calvin. I mean,
bad picks by other teams. You're getting yourself prepped. Bears got that first pick.
Look
I know
at Barry coming out.
You're not big on Caleb. For the record, I'm not either. I wish Facino was here as well. He will be here later in the stream. He will be joining us. He's currently at a family party.
Look at Jared Goff.
Big Jared, Big Aiden. Eminem still wearing the NFC North Champs hat. That's a good feeling.
Hutch is like pimping. Look at him. He's like.
The boys are buzzing right now. The boys are buzzing.
Jared Goff.
So we have a lot going on right now. The top 5 picks in the NFL draft as it stands, unless guys move around, unless teams make any trades. You have the Bears picking first. Washington.
I think Matthew Stafford feels around here and Jared Goff chance.
I don't know. Probably the same way he felt when we beat him in the
This seems like a Super Bowl parade.
We got Washington picking second. We got New England picking third. The Arizona Cardinals at 4. The LA Chargers at 5. A lot of teams in the top 10 need a quarterback. We said it last night. This is going to be a very quarterback, wide receiver, and offensive tackle heavy draft. Definitely a heavy first round for all 3 of those positions. It seems from everything that you've read, everything that we've heard the past couple of weeks, it seems like Caleb's going to Chicago. We'll know in the next couple of minutes. Looks like those Bears fans traveled well. They are there. They are excited. The Bears have another pick at 9. And before that, it's the Giants at 6, the Titans at 7, Atlanta Falcons at 8.
Especially after everything that happened in the Dallas game. Sorry, he's always asking me a question here about why we don't like Roger Goodell.
Why we don't like Roger Goodell?
Well, first of all, he lied about what happened with the Dallas game about the Dan Skipper not being eligible.
Yeah, Goodell's usually an asshat. But the one thing I'll give him credit for is he actually does embrace the booze at this point and
they all
tells everybody to get on. But Bears are probably going quarterback here, I guess. I guess. They're definitely going quarterback.
Did your timer start?
My timer's at 9:51.
Okay, my timer just started 9:58.
All right. So I will I guess when that pick comes in, I will say nothing and you say whoever got drafted and we'll get into it. Or you
could just pause it like 6 seconds.
Pause
8
the
seconds.
TV.
You have both?
Well, as you come in and out, if Pat or whoever is
I'm at 9:34, 9:33, 9:32,
you're 10 seconds behind.
9:31, 9:30, 9:29. All right.
So the Bears needs here. Bears are on the clock. Bears need a few things. Probably need a new head coach, but I don't think they can find that tonight. On the field itself, they need a quarterback. They need an edge rusher. They need a wide receiver. And they need O-line all around.
Yeah. I mean, this is no doubt going to be a quarterback. I mean, most likely 95% will be Caleb, but I guess let's see what Chef is saying here. But I mean, listen, for me, the more important pick for them comes later. knowing them, they're probably gonna make a dumb move and go receiver. They got already 2 good receivers there, if not 3, and more in Keenan Allen, and they probably should go and draft an O lineman to protect their prize number 1 pick here, no matter who that is. But they're probably gonna go wide receiver with that next pick. But I think they're gonna try to copycat what the Texans did. You know. So
What, try to go pass rusher quarterback?
I can see them
Or
going
you think that
quarterback,
they'll move
pass
up, you're saying,
rusher.
from 9? You think that
They
they'll
might move up to get the. Well, I don't know if they'll move up in this draft because you have so many quarterbacks that are going to go early. So
I think it probably depends on what they want to do with that 9th pick. So, like, obviously, listen, if they're not sold on Caleb Williams, then I think that throws a wrench kind of in these first 10 picks, right? But if they're going to do what we assume they're going to do, and that's take Caleb Williams, then what they do at 9 really kind of depends, right? Like, I doubt Joe Alt from Notre Dame is still going to be there at 9. That seems to be he's not my number 1 OT, not my number 1 offensive tackle, but a lot of the experts, a lot of the analysts, they love Joe Alt. So it depends. Paul, I would agree with you. I think it would be wise of them to look across the lake, look across their division, see who just won the NFC North this last year, and see how they built their team, right? What did Detroit do? Detroit has focused both offensively and defensively in the trenches, making their front 7 on defense and that front 5 on offense as good and powerful as possible. And that makes your quarterback's life a hell of a lot easier. So that would make sense. For me, that would make sense. If I'm the Chicago Bears, I agree with you. I think they got some decent receivers. I think you got to protect that guy that you bring in. Now, what they do at number 9, God only knows. And the Bears, the Bears do Bear things, right?
yeah, no. Listen, I hope they're smart enough to draft an O lineman. You got to protect your asset. I know I said that, but they have one of the more weaker offensive lines in football. So to me, like, I know, like, probably the fans, everyone wants to build this 1-2 combo, but you're gonna draft a receiver here to be like the 2-3 guy. So everything here, from if anything with them picking after they take Caleb here, should be an O lineman. So
Now, the
we'll see
teams
what they
going,
do.
the
I hope
teams
they
that are,
I hope they fuck it up because I don't like them, but.
you and me both, pal. Now, the teams going before them, the only teams I could see that are going to take, I hope I didn't that's caps lock. The only teams I could see that maybe will take or should take an offensive lineman, an offensive tackle before them, I imagine the Chargers, right? The Chargers have their quarterback of the future. They know what they're doing. They just brought in Jim Harbaugh. What did Jim do at Michigan, Pavo? One in the trenches, right? One with the run game, one in the trenches, did not make his quarterback throw 40, 50 times a game. They won with the ground and pound and beating the man in front of you. So if he's bringing that mentality to Los Angeles, you have to imagine they're going to go offensive tackle there. I mean, listen, they could go wide receiver because they do have some decent offensive linemen there. They've got Slater, but maybe to put somebody opposite of Slater is not a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
Their needs: wide receiver, cornerback, defense, interior defensive line, offensive tackle, and linebacker. I mean, so that's a team that can and probably will take a offensive lineman before Chicago. The Giants. I mean, who knows what happens here with the Giants, right? They're probably at some point going to move on from Daniel Jones.
I think they're going.
Do they do that tonight?
They're going QB.
You think so?
Yeah, a lot of talk's been out of there, before draft that they want to make sure they lock up their QB. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to be with the first pick there, but no, I do think it's going to be with the first pick. I think they might be, if it's JJ McCarthy, I've heard good rumors about him coming to New York. What are they picking? They're picking 6 Giants.
Giants are picking 6th, then between the Chargers and Titans. Bears pick is in.
Yeah, so I think the big thing is if New England goes quarterback, then it's a race to who gets McCarthy next. I don't think he makes it. I don't think he makes it past Arizona's at 4. I don't think he makes it past.
Arizona's at 4, probably not getting a quarterback.
Yeah.
LA is at 5, probably not getting a quarterback.
Yeah, but
Giants?
I think someone probably moves in. Chargers got the perfect job, perfect place to trade back one spot with the Giants. Of course, the Giants to come up, or because then Giants could have the fear of the Vikings trading up to get JJ, or or um or Oakland trading up, or Denver trading up. Um, so that's big. I think the New England pick is going to determine how many quarterbacks go in the top 10, top 12 even. Does Bo Nix end up going 12 to like Denver? You know, so man, I hate them. Look at them, bunch of tools over there in Chicago.
Very interesting. I can't see the Titans. I can't see the Titans taking a quarterback. Right, their needs, their big needs: offensive tackle, tight end, D line, specifically edge, interior O line. They need help all over the place. But you have to imagine they're gonna give. What's the Mayo kid from Kentucky? What the fuck's his name? Will Levis. They got to be giving him his chance over there. Do you see it?
Pads are sexy.
Is it on your screen yet?
Yeah, good. Kid sucks.
Bears select Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC. Paul, give us your thoughts here.
I, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna break this down and know like everything I know what I'm talking about. There's a lot that I don't dislike about him is I think he's immature. I think the way he acted at the combine, not even that he decided not to do interviews or take any measurements, just the way he was butchering other people's interviews with media. I think the way he acts. I don't know. For me, like he's not a guy that I'd want to put leading my franchise. I wouldn't, but I get why Chicago did, why they did take him, but whatever. I mean, I got nothing good to say about it. I'll probably get in trouble with what I really want to say, so I just rather keep my mouth shut.
So it's better to be left
Yeah.
unsaid.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, this is what everybody mocked. This is what everybody was talking about. It's not a total surprise. It's not a surprise at all. Chicago is not a small media market, right? Chicago is a very, very, very big media market. They care about their Bears very much so. And I mean, we saw it with Fields for the past 3 years. Fields has a good game, he's on top of the world. Fields has a bad game, get rid of him, trade him, drop him, release him. So
Yeah.
Caleb is walking into that, right? He's walking into a potential mess right now. You're walking into a place where the head coach might not be the head coach after this year. The general manager might not be the guy that picked him. The two guys that picked him may not have a job next year, right? I think their jobs really depend on the progression of Caleb Williams playing quarterback for the Chicago Bears this year. And, the defenses that he's going to go up against in the NFC North are no joke. The pass rushers are no joke. Aiden Hutchinson right now is licking his chops backstage, getting ready to dance all over Caleb Williams on the Ford Field turf. So he's definitely got the talent. He's got the arm. He's got a lot of the intangibles that you look for.
Yeah.
Not my guy. I'm with you, Paul. I see some personality issues. I don't see this working out in Chicago. If you told me potentially the Jacksonville Jaguars or somewhere in a smaller market, maybe it could work, but the microscope is going to be on him in Chicago. And they're going to kind of live and die by every touchdown and interception he throws, and he's got to be ready for that. That doesn't mean that it can't work out for him, but I think it's going to be how he reacts to his losses, ultimately. I think his success is going to be how he reacts there, because if he's lashing out at that crowd, it's not going to go over well.
Yeah.
It's just not. So
Listen, I'm going to take a little break here for a second, and I'll hop back on here.
You got it.
Do a couple things. All right. I'll be back on.
Do what you got to do, Pavo. We're here. We're here all night, baby.
All right.
Thanks for jumping on.
Yep. All right.
So that's Paul. That's our why can't I get this up? There we go. Oh, that's not working. That is our Sunny Days in Detroit co-host. Bears just took Caleb Williams. If you're listening, you're in the comments. Jump in. Tell us what you all think about that. You heard my thoughts. You heard Paul's thoughts. Not a big fan, but listen, this is a guy that has all the talent in the world. I mean, his career, like I said, is really in his hands. And the two guys that drafted him, they're really banking on it, because if this doesn't work out, they're going to be gone, and it's going to be a whole new regime change once again in the Windy City. The Washington Commanders are on the clock here. Their needs, we didn't get into it before. Their needs, obviously, at quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, edge. I could name all those things, but I gotta assume what's going to happen is what we've heard kind of all week long. Same with Caleb Williams in Chicago. You have to assume Drake May is probably going to Washington to be a Commander. It's obviously a big need of theirs. New head coach, new front office there, starting out with a clean slate. I think Drake May is gun to my head. I think I'd honestly probably rather have Drake May over Caleb Williams. Statistically, neither one of them played in the best, debatably the best conference in college football. Neither one of them this year really played in any big games. Both of them, I mean, USC was out of it by mid-October, maybe before that. And UNC was undefeated for a little while, but kind of faltered against some of those better teams. I want to say they lost to Florida State. So, Drake May, that's another one. He's got his work cut out for him. If he's going to be the guy in Washington against that NFC East, that's a very, very tough division. That's another black and blue division. That's a division that plays great defense. I mean, you're going to see the Cowboys twice a year, the Eagles twice a year, and now the Giants, who potentially are kind of on their way back up, hopefully, right, for those Giants fans in New York. So it's going to be a long road for Drake May, to say the least, but he's a guy that definitely has the arm for it. He's got an NFL arm. I mean, that's kind of everything that you've heard about, and that's the first thing that people talk about when they talk about Drake May. They talk about his arm. They talk about his ability to hit receivers up and down the field. And he's definitely a guy that could definitely translate well into the NFL. I don't know off the top of my head that touchdown to interception ratio. And I will also look pretty stupid here if Washington goes in another direction. But I feel like this one is pretty safe to say, and it's probably going to be Drake May. So once again, anybody listening, sound off in the comments. Let us know what you think of these guys so far, and if you think it's going to work out, if it's not going to work out. That is some crowd they have in Detroit right now for the draft. This looks great. This looks like something I definitely would have loved to have been a part of. A lot of fans. This is their only pick in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see what they do here. Roger Goodell. Jaden Daniels. Wow. Okay. That's refreshing. Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner, a dude that showed up at I think SEC Media Days this year with some kind of like smartwatch strapped to his chest, playing his highlights, or like some kind of little phone or TV, something like that. Ballsy move, but clearly the guy was able to back it up. I mean, he had a couple of games this year against some bad SEC teams, where I got coffee all over myself. I'm a mess. He had some games this year where, let's say, he padded his stats a little bit. But you know what? I mean, the kid balled out this year. He absolutely deserved every bit of that Heisman Award. I mean, there were other guys you could maybe have debated it could have gone to. For a while, people were talking about Michael Penix, and then, he kind of cooled off, but Washington kept winning. Who knows? There's my boy Chris in the comments. One Pride. Chris, good to see you, pal. Out in Packers country in Wisconsin. Yeah, Jaden Daniel, only FBS quarterback with 12,000 plus passing yards, 3,000 plus rushing yards. I mean, listen, what do NFL scouts want to see? They want to see you do it in the best conference in college football right now. I mean, you could say that's the SEC. You could say that's the Big Ten. It's kind of, I guess it's a 2-horse race there in college football, right? They're calling them the Big Two, those two conferences. If you could do it in one of those two conferences and do it day in, day out, week in, week out, and really put the whole country on notice, you're going to catch the attention of a lot of people. Clearly, they caught the attention of Washington, and good for them. Good for them. I mean, I expected Drake May, so a little egg on my face here, but I'm not the only guy in America that thought this. And honestly, I mean, I don't think we have any Washington Commanders fans in the audience. If we do, certainly chime in. Would love to hear from you. But I think this is a great move. I think this is a great move for Washington. Restart with some young blood, a guy that's mobile. I mean, you just saw it, 3,000 rushing yards. I want to say, I don't know how many years he even played at LSU, if it was 2 or 3 years. I don't think he was a senior. So good for them, man. A guy that's got a wide skill set, a great arm, and did it against some of the best programs in the country, like I said. So, and it ain't easy. It is not easy playing football at LSU, similar to places like Texas and Alabama and Florida at times, Michigan, Ohio State. This is essentially the biggest football program in the state of Louisiana. I mean, New Orleans has their Saints and they love them, but the LSU Tigers are a very big deal. And to come out and shoulder all that pressure and really come through, and he had some good seasons. I mean, I wouldn't totally blame him for LSU kind of missing the playoff the past 2 years. Chris once again chimes in. They got to fix that field before he pulls an RG3. Yeah, I mean, you hope so. New ownership in Washington. Hopefully, some of those issues can become non-existent over time. But I think this is a step in the right direction. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. This is a great move for Washington. Interesting to see if they make their way back into the first round to get another offensive lineman, depending on if they want to go tackle or, I mean, this is such a tackle heavy draft, ladies and gentlemen, that if Washington wants to hang back and wait to the top of the second where they're picking second again, I believe, they could do that and they could get away with it and probably get a starter at tackle, either tackle, guard, center. I mean, they really have, kind of the cards are in their hands, I guess. I'm at a loss for words. My head's all over the place. Spaghetti brains. But there's a lot of avenues Washington can go. I doubt they'll trade back into the first, but I wouldn't rule it out. I really wouldn't rule it out. I think the next move, whenever that time is, I think their next best move is to draft an offensive lineman. You're making a big investment in this in Jaden Daniels, not just money, but time, resources, right? Draft picks. You want to make sure you do this right. You got to protect this kid. Like Chris said, you don't want another RG3 story. You shouldn't have another RG3 story. And the way you avoid that is by protecting your assets, protecting your quarterback. Do not let that kid hit the turf. Don't let that kid get touched. And the way you do that is by putting big old hog mollies in front of him to block. The New England Patriots pick is in. We are awaiting the commissioner to come out on stage and tell us who they are going to take. So now you've got Caleb Williams off the board. You've got Jaden Daniels off the board. What do we think New England's going to do? Do we think they're going to take Drake May? Their team needs a quarterback, offensive tackle, wide receiver, and corner. Do we think it's going to be Drake May? Do we think it's going to be J.J. McCarthy, potentially? Who knows? Let's listen in. Drake May. Jaden Daniels. Good for New England. I think I probably would have rather Jaden Daniels and Washington beat them to it, but good for New England. Same thing in New England. You're essentially starting out with a new GM and a new head coach when you get rid of Bill Belichick. You're starting off with a clean slate, just like Washington is, and you're bringing in a guy that is familiar with the East Coast. He's been playing here for the past 3 years now. Don't know if he's ever been. He's probably played Boston College, so been to the Boston area. Don't know why that matters. Diarrhea of the mouth. But good for New England. This is what they needed. They went out, they did it. They gave up on the Mac Jones experiment. That didn't work. That was a disaster from day one. Why Bill Belichick did that is beyond me. But good for them. They're starting off with someone new, a guy that threw a heck of a lot of touchdowns in the ACC, looked great for a while. I think Drake May really took the University of North Carolina as far as he could take them. He really did. It's not a well-run program. Mac Brown is kind of in purgatory over there where, and it's weird because there's a lot of good high school football talent in the state of North Carolina. And it's kind of just mind-boggling to me that both them, I mean, I can understand Duke. It's not really, and North Carolina is still a basketball school as well, but it is kind of mind-boggling to me how they can't really put together a team that could even make it to the ACC championship each year or every couple of years. But I digress. Good for Drake May. Good for the New England Patriots. This is what they needed. Once again, same thing with Washington. Do they hang back? Do they hang back throughout the rest of the first round and see where these tackles go? Do they want to jump in? Because just like Washington, New England could hang back and take their next left tackle or right tackle at the top of the second round, and you're probably getting 2 starters with those first 2 picks. That would be the wise decision. That would be the best thing that they could do. And we'll see if that's what they do. No comments in here. Once again, guys, if you see anything, if you see something, say something, chime in. Let us know what you think. Is this going to be another Mac Jones in New England? Is this going to be another failed experiment? I don't think so. I think Drake May is much more athletic. I think he's got a much better arm. And he also didn't come from a program where everything was set up for him. Drake May had to make things happen at UNC. Drake May had to deal with, 3-star receivers. He wasn't throwing to Jamison Williams. He wasn't throwing to Devontae Smith, playing in, a national championship every year. He's throwing to no names, and he's being protected by no names, and he's going up against, potentially a team, that maybe should have been in the college football playoff in the Florida State Seminoles the past 2 years, where they couldn't get past him. So, give Drake May some credit, give him the benefit of the doubt. I think New England fans really need to be patient with this. It is going to be a long rebuild. Drake can do better than Mac. He changed that USC team. I agree, man. I think Drake May is probably the best quarterback UNC has had. I mean, I know they had, what was it? I believe it was Sam Howell a few years. I always get Sam Howell mixed up with the other guy that played at Ole Miss, but the guy they had before Drake May was probably the best that they had. And now after Drake, having Drake May, that's probably the best quarterback they've had, definitely in my lifetime. I don't see it getting better for UNC, but this also isn't a college football show. This is a draft show. And if you're a New England Patriots fan, be excited, but be patient. Be patient. And just like Jaden Daniels, whatever they surround Drake May with is really going to determine the success of him. I think New England's probably going to be a little defensively driven. They're run by Gerard Mayo now. That's their head coach, ex-linebacker of the Patriots. So they're going from a defensive head coach to another defensive head coach, typically a defensive-heavy organization to begin with. So, if this is a team that could play a sturdy, stingy defense all season long, they could give Drake May a chance to win. And that's probably, if you're a New England fan, that's what you want to see. The Arizona Cardinals pick is in. What are they doing, folks? Their needs: interior offensive line, wide receiver, edge, defensive line, corner. If I'm going to predict, I'm going to predict wide receiver. I think that's where they go. Kyler Murray is kind of getting a rebirth in Arizona. Yeah, Sam Howell was there. Drake was the backup. I remember that. So it was Sam Howell. Thank you, Chris. Fact checker, Chris. I think Arizona's going wide receiver. Like I said, Kyler Murray's kind of gotten a second chance there. It seemed like he's kind of showed out a little toward the end of last season. They were a very feisty team. If you remember, they were covering the spread, making a lot of people, myself included, lose some money in the beginning with them. And all right, Marvin Harrison Jr. of Ohio State. So, I wouldn't say the consensus number one wide receiver. You have a lot of people that'll tell you Rome Odunze. You'll have a lot of people that'll say the kid from LSU, whose name is now escaping me. But Marvin was up there. Marvin Harrison Jr. was a guy that literally had his pick of the litter out of high school. This was a guy that was getting wooed by multiple teams. It wasn't about NIL. It wasn't about cars or money or anything like that. This is a guy, his father, I don't know if Marvin Harrison Sr. is in the Hall of Fame, but certainly was one of the best wide receivers of my generation as a young kid, watching him play in all those playoff games with Peyton Manning, catching touchdown passes. Marvin did the very same thing at Ohio State. And like I said, this was a guy that did not need to be wooed. It was a matter of what is the best fit for me, where am I going to excel, and who is going to get me in the top 5 of the NFL draft in the best way possible. And that was Ohio State. He was the catalyst for this offense. The Ohio State offense did not have good quarterback play this year. They had a solid defense. They had a solid run game, but he was the catalyst. If Marvin wasn't going, this offense really wasn't going. And he had some games where he was shut down a little bit. I believe the Penn State game and the Michigan game, he was definitely shut down a bit. And, the other knock on Marvin was he had some injury issues past couple of years. And as we say in the NFL, the best ability you can have is your availability. And that's the one knock you could kind of say on Marvin. But outside of that, tremendous route runner, just like his father. He's got great hands. He's got speed down the field. He's everything you want in a wide receiver one. I don't think it's going to be very much of a learning curve. I think this is a guy that could step on an NFL field day one and make a major impact against NFL talent. And he's going to be tested in the NFC West. There's no doubt about it. But this is, once again, I mean, I do like, I wrote Drake Mayo, not Drake May. I like pretty much every one of these picks so far, except for the Bears. I got to be honest, I'm not really sold on Caleb Williams, but I know that there's a lot of people that disagree with me. And when Facino gets here, can't wait to hear his take on that. But Arizona taking Marvin Harrison, this was a no-brainer. They needed it. They need help at the wide receiver position. They need to help out Kyler Murray as much as they possibly can. The only knock you could have said was maybe they should have went tackle, but I got no problem with this. I think this is the right move. And just like those other 4 teams we said, listen, if they want to go interior offensive line at the top of the second round and take a guard, take a center, they could do that. And I think that would set them up really nicely going into next season. And I mean, and at that point too, if you're Arizona, now you're really kind of putting the ball in Kyler Murray's court. There's no more excuses. We'll see how the rest of this draft goes, but they're really limiting the excuses for him, right? We got rid of that head coach that wasn't too good. We gave you the reins to the offense. We're keeping you. We're not moving on from you. We gave you a new head coach. Now we're giving you Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think as long as Marvin Harrison Jr. stays healthy, this is a guy that can win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, we're probably going to say that a million times here tonight. This is the first round of the NFL draft. These guys are the best of the best. And that's why they're going tonight. That's why they're wearing their suits and their chains, and they're getting interviewed on the side here with ESPN and NFL Network. So it could be any one of these guys, but Marvin Harrison is he's the guy. He was the guy at Ohio State, and now he's going to be the guy in Arizona fighting for every yard and going for those jump balls. And like I said, I think that this is a great pick. It's definitely it's risky because of the injury issues, but it's a safe pick, right? If things don't work out, like you were wrong along with 98% of the NFL and college world, right? This is a guy that people talked about potentially. A lot of people had money on him winning the Heisman this year. It didn't work out, but and he is a guy that shows up in big games. I mean, yeah, he didn't have his best game against Michigan, but that's a team that just won the national championship. This is a guy we were talking about all season long. If you watch Big Ten football, you know who Marvin Harrison Jr. was, and it's not just this year. I mean, people were talking about he was putting up numbers last year, and from the day he stepped on an Ohio State field, whatever that was, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. Everybody was talking about this kid being a star in the NFL. Everybody was wondering where he was going to go, and now we know, and it's Arizona, and I think that's a great place for him. It's not a huge football market. There's not going to be a million cameras on him each and every day. I think he's a guy that could get off to a slower start, and he's not going to hear it from the crowd, and that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. You hope the health could be there. As long as if Marvin Harrison Jr. plays a full 17 game schedule this year, this is a guy that could set rookie records, no doubt about it. Maybe not with yards, but I could definitely see with receptions. I mean, this guy's got magnets for hands. I mean, very rarely drop the ball, and when he does, it's. I mean, from what I've seen of him, it's usually a tough catch to make. If it hits him in the hands, he's usually coming down with it. So good on Arizona, and good for Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Harrison family. So we move on now. The LA Chargers, brand new head coach, coming off a national championship victory against Washington. Jim Harbaugh, he's running the Chargers. Their needs, as we said before, wide receiver, corner, defensive line, offensive tackle, and linebacker. So pretty safe to assume they're not going to take a linebacker, right? But I think kind of any one of those first four I said, I don't imagine they're going to take a corner, and I don't imagine they're going to go defensive line. I mean, wouldn't shock me if they go edge. They just restructured Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa's contracts. Those guys are making a little less. They restructured them so they could keep them around. But those are guys that are probably not going to be here next year. This is probably their last season in LA. So maybe Jim wants to start getting ready for that and bringing an edge to play with those guys as you send them off the following year. Who knows? Gun to my head, I think they're going tackle. I think it's a no-brainer. If they go tackle, listen, could be Joe Alt, Notre Dame. It could be Olu Fashanu, Penn State left tackle. Those are the consensus top two picks. It's not my top two. My number one tackle in this draft is, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Taliese Fuaga, right tackle out of Oregon State. And I'll talk more about him. I'm sure he's going to get picked in the next probably 3 picks. The Titans could use him. The Giants could use him. The Jets could use him. The Bears. I mean, any one of these teams could definitely use him. I love Taliese Fuaga, but my assumption here is I think they're going to go tackle. I think they're going to go Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. I've got about 1, 2, 3. I got like four pages on Joe Alt. So let's see if it's him. I'm actually going to get another beer. Pick is in. Commissioner's coming to the stage. Get the volume on. All right, it's Joe Alt. So, Chargers select Joe Alt offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. A little bit about Joe Alt. He's 6'8". All right. If you haven't watched this guy, turn the tape on. He's an animal. I mean, they're showing him right now. If you got the ESPN feed, it looks like he's next to his mom and his girlfriend. Who the fuck knows? Joe Alt is a brick shithouse. His father, John Alt, 21st overall pick, 1984 NFL draft. Looks like he went to the Chiefs. Joe Alt is a monster. He's built like a typical NFL left tackle. Like I said, he's 6'8", 315 pounds. That's the ideal weight you want to play at. Maybe a little heavier, maybe 330. These guys always slim down a little when they get ready for the combine. They got to run that 40 time, which is like so bizarre because when is a left tackle running in a straight line for 40 yards? But I digress. A lot of notes on him. So here's my consensus on him. Overall, clearly has the size to play in the NFL. I see what he looks like. But I see some mental lapses in his game, but it's hard to tell without knowing the play call. He's a bulldozer when he gets his hands on you, but he trips over himself a little bit, gets run over at times. The footwork is a concern, but with proper coaching, that's something that can be improved. I liked what I saw, but I wasn't blown away. In my opinion, not a top 5 pick. So, I'm alone. I'm somewhat alone on that. A lot of people are probably listening to this saying I'm an idiot, and that's fine because I'm not an NFL scout. But my consensus with him, big boy, great player, definitely had a lot of games. Like, yeah, if you watch the Navy game, he's running over people. But none of those guys that play for Navy are playing in the NFL. That's just not really the way it works. I saw some lapses in the Louisville game. That was one of the games that Notre Dame lost. I mean, that was really what I looked for in Joe Alt. I looked for it in Joe Alt and Olu Fashanu. I went to the games that those guys lost, right? Because, when they're playing these terrible fucking teams, I can't really see what the guy genuinely looks like. I like to look at when the competition steps up, how does that guy respond? How does that guy look? And I really was not blown away with how he looked in those losses. Some of the mental lapses in his game seem to worry me, but once again, I don't know if it's a play call or what. We got Pavo in here.
What up?
There we go.
I lost.
Why won't it? I got to change the banner. Pavo, did you
What's
see?
that?
You saw their pick? You saw it was Joe Alt.
Yeah, good pick. It's a John Harbaugh move. Get the big boys up front, protect Herbert. You get your toys later. So they need to be able to run the ball, protect Herbert.
It's a safe pick. I think he's going to be
I
think he's going to be solid. Pick. But I honestly think if they really wanted, I think the better guy was Fashanu there. But that's my opinion. I don't think this is a bad pick. I think this is a great pick. I think it's a safe pick. You can't go wrong. And like we just said, you're going to protect Herbert. That's your big investment.
Yeah, it's smart move. It's smart move by San Diego. Build that team right. They're a team that kept just drafting receivers and running backs and all the sexy picks, but establish that offensive line, be able to run the ball, take pressure off Herbert. You're gonna see a different style of Herbert play. And he's gonna have success that way. So I like.
You have to protect him. He's had too many injuries in his young NFL career.
There's JJ. Is this JJ? JJ's gonna go to Giants and then I need Bo.
I'm gonna owe you a brand new Lions jersey if he goes.
Bo Nix. It's Bo Nix needs to also.
No, not Bo Nix. Michael Penix. Michael
Penix needs to fall out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're showing Malik Neighbors as well. So the Giants
need a quarterback. I've heard everything them say that they're gonna go. That they need a quarterback. They need to establish that quarterback room. Could you imagine Giants fans right now if you go into this next year with Daniels as your quarterback? Yeah.
Giants team needs wide receiver, interior OL, running back, quarterback, and safety. Did you see it or no? I'll wait on you.
There's Ryan, international fan. Wow, good. They can continue being a joke of a franchise.
Well, listen, I agree with you. I think they needed to go quarterback there, but Malik Neighbors is a fantastic wide receiver. This is a guy that
Yeah.
people argued was the best wide receiver in college football last year. Like I said before, some people said Marvin Harrison. Some people said
That's
Rome
fine that he's the
Odunze.
best. He could be the best receiver that played football the last 15 years. I saw Calvin Johnson come to Detroit. I mean, it's that doesn't matter. You had the best quarterback when you had the best receiver when you drafted Beckham. You still don't have a quarterback. And
So you
the
think they
problems will
should?
continue.
What should they have done there? You think they should have went
They
JJ?
should 100% win JJ and establish a quarterback. JJ is a great quarterback. So you know we'll see what they do later, but it's they suck. They're the Giants, so they just established exactly why they suck. Um, and I mean, listen, May he's a great receiver, but like
I know we
you have
got some
so many
Giants
holes.
fans in the comments here. Giants
Yeah,
fans, sound off. Let us know what you think. You got Paul's take. My take on this, I'm with Paul. I think I would have went quarterback, but I don't think this is a bad pick. I think this is fine, especially if there
who's your
is
quarterback? Who's your quarterback?
if their hope they signed Daniel Jones to an extension last year.
They're
I agree
forced
with you.
to.
I don't think Daniel Jones is good, but if their belief is
They
listen, we
don't
can
believe
build
it.
around it. Well,
They don't believe it.
I believe that they do, or else they probably would have
Nah,
taken JJ McCarthy,
nah.
right? They had the 6th pick. They don't plan on picking in the top 5, top 10 next year. I would hope not. Or some of those guys, Dable first, is probably gone. So, Giants fans, like I said, sound off. Let us know. I'm with Paul. I would have went quarterback, but I don't think this is bad. Malik Neighbors was fantastic last year. He's been fantastic the past couple of years, and he's doing it in the SEC against some of the best competition, especially corners.
This is
Man,
like
some of the
this is like equivalent to like buying like I don't know some kind of nice car, like like let's say you had the money to buy
buy a house and you bought a Lambo.
yeah, or you bought like a Lambo, but you don't have a garage to keep it safe in, like like
Yeah. Hey,
listen, if
listen.
you're a Giants fan out there and you believe in Daniel still, then sure, then you can't complain about the pick. But then again, I would still be like you, man. I would still go an O lineman. I know they have some decent guys on the line, but I still would go O lineman. Like, I don't know.
Listen, I agree. I think if I
Why
was
is
going to
every receiver? Why is every receiver has like not been successful in New York? Did Kenny Galladay just all of a sudden suck, or did he also like have no quarterback to throw him the ball? Did what's his name that won in the
yeah.
first round that they went to Kansas City? They just can't get the ball out to anybody. He can run, he can move, he can make some
Yeah.
throws, but
Listen, I agree, but Neighbors is a great player. If they could find a way to protect, put it this way, if they could go after interior offensive line in the second round here, then maybe you make this Daniel Jones situation look a little better, and you make the Malik Neighbors pick look a little
they
better as
pretty much
well.
ruined Daniel Waller's career as a tight end, made him garbage. Ruined Kenny. This is what it is as a Giants fan here. Like, is it all these players you bring over that are the problem, or is it you? Is it like your quarterback play? Is it that you haven't established a real leader there since Eli left? Like,
Mhm.
Kenny Galladay went and was a great receiver. All of a sudden came and it sucks. I know you dropped a lot of passes, but it's like, I believe drops are more than just like you dropping the ball. I think it's like not believing the quarterback can get you the ball. Not, timing not being made right in practice. All of a sudden it's there. Like, whatever it is, like there's not a belief. And listen, I don't want to go and defend Galladay because he was a joke, but like Waller, all of a sudden garbage. The first round pick, the quarterback, the receiver that went to Kansas City, garbage. Even when they touch, it turns into garbage as a receiver, as a tight end. But and it's not the Giants. It's that they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
So
I'm with you. I would have went quarterback there. They
you
didn't,
had a
but
chance. You had a
I,
chance to get the youngest quarterback in this draft. He played in a pro style offense. He can get the ball. And you know what, if JJ, and I am a Michigan guy, but like me, I'm not jumping on Blake Corum's bandwagon. I'm not. I don't jump on Michigan guys. I really believe in JJ. He can make every throw. He's smart. He's a leader. He loves his teammates.
And
He
he's young.
practices hard.
He's young, which is a
and
good
he's the
thing.
youngest guy. And you know what? He would be that guy that if he came back this year and played for a coach that throws the ball more, he would put up numbers like
Paulie, I'm gonna pee
Daniel
really
did.
quick. Carry this a little for me.
where you can't. Well, you left me to go to the piss there. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Giants pick. I felt the Giants had a chance to solidify their future, move on from Daniels, put some excitement back into the stands at MetLife, and they didn't do that. They went with a receiver that I like. That is, I personally probably like him better than Marvin Harrison Jr. But I believe that you add those toys once you solidify your O-line, your QB, then you go get those toys. There's many other receivers they could have drafted in the second round, third round that could have helped out. This is a deep wide receiver class. And I know we want to say it's a deep quarterback class, but not really anymore. 3 quarterbacks are gone. So now you got 3 guys, and then the bar drops a lot. You got JJ, Bo Nix, and Penix. Penix to me is not a quarterback that is gonna. I don't believe is gonna have a lot of success in the NFL. I think he has a bad, throws a good deep ball, but that's about it. And
well, listen, we lost Paul. Paul, we lost you. You're muted. You got to unmute yourself, Paulie.
Always hot.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost you there. You got to mute.
At least die.
Yeah, I think your AirPods died. Well, listen, we got Tennessee up next. Tennessee's pick is in. We're waiting for the commissioner to get to the stage. Right now, it looks like both networks are at a commercial break. Tennessee's needs are tight end, offensive tackle, edge, interior OL, interior offensive line, wide receiver, and corner. Paul, you're muted again. You're muted, Paul. We cannot hear you. I don't know if Paul could hear us. Paulie, you are muted. You're muted. You can't hear us. We're going to send Paulie a message. There we go. Yeah, you keep going to the net.
Why does it keep kicking?
Uh-oh, now we lost Paul. And then there was one. Well, Paul's got some technical difficulties, but I also want to say thank you to everybody tuning in. Right now, we are hitting a record high for a Sunny Days Media live stream. This is great. 29 of you viewing. We all appreciate it here at Sunny Days Media. Thank you. Hang tight. Stay with us throughout the draft. We're going to be here all night. I'm pounding coffee, and I'm
when are you going to start pounding at least one bourbon?
No, not on the bourbon yet. Maybe I'll rip a shot after the Lions.
I got my Dr. Pepper going.
Oh, a little diet Dr. Pepper. You and my wife love the Dr. Peppers.
You know what? I don't know when I got on a kick of Dr. Pepper. It's like probably it was probably a I don't know, man, like 4 months back on. Let me see what this pick is here. Don't say anything.
All right, here we go. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go on a tear here, Paul. So bear with me.
Well, I know because you love the guy from Washington.
No, I love the guy from Oregon State.
You're
J.C.
looking
Latham.
through your notes here. You can't even find the guy.
No. I got him here. So bear with me here, Paul. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle, Alabama. This is something eye-popping here, and I don't like this. 6'6". I love that. What I don't like, 360 pounds. I don't know about you, Paul, but I don't see too many successful offensive linemen in the NFL playing at 360. You got to imagine he's got to come down a little. He's a little slow. Definitely, you could see. I definitely wanted to see what he weighed in at the combine, and I didn't see that. I'm low on his athleticism. This is not an athletic tackle. This is not a Penei Sewell. This is not a Tylese Fuaga. This is a guy that looks and plays at 360. Good college tackle, but, what else? He trips over himself. Here's my notes on him. Overall, I'm not impressed. He's big and strong for sure. Relatively good pass blocker, I'll admit that. But it's tough to judge when your QB is running all over the field, right? We saw Jalen Milroe running sideline to sideline constantly this season, and that does make it tough to really judge a tackle. But he's not a great run blocker. He holds a lot. He got away with a lot of holding this year. That's not going to fly in the NFL, especially when you're picking, especially when you're playing in Tennessee. There's not a lot of bias for Tennessee. Guys get around him. That's the other concern. Guys get around him and they make plays. He's fat and slow. Gonna be honest. Like I know I'm fat and slow, but I'm a construction worker. I lift wood for a living and dig holes. This guy's got to move defensive ends that run a 4.5 40. So I don't know what he weighed in at the combine. I'd love to know what he weighs now. I'd love to know kind of what his shuttle time was. I'm not really sure what it was, but overall, I don't like this. I really don't like this. I see Evan Neal written all over this. I think this is going to be a disaster.
Would you say Evan Neal?
I would not have done this. I would absolutely not have done this. Atlanta, once again, doing Atlanta things. Trading for fucking Jeff Okudah, thinking he could be a number one corner. Drafting that idiot Desmond Ridder out of Cincinnati. So I think that this is a disaster. Paul, where are you on this? It definitely fits a need. They needed it. They needed a tackle, but
yeah, I feel there's better tackles on there, but what do I know? So I mean, maybe if he fits the scheme there. I mean, everything you said sounds about right. Guy got a lot of confidence. You know, he's walking around in a cutoff shirt and showing his belly, and you know he's repping that 360 pounds, no problem.
He looks like he's slimmed down a little. So
yeah, they have
that's
around 340. But you know, but it's also combine. They bring down their weight. You know, once he gets in there and he starts.
But that's really where he should be, man. Like he at the most, 340. But I personally, I don't want my left tackle or right tackle playing at 360.
No, it's too much for tackles.
You're telling me you want to be a defensive tackle in the 3 technique? No problem. You could weigh 360 all day. No shot do I want my left. I don't want anybody on my offense weighing 360 unless you're like a makeshift fullback coming in on the goal line to blow somebody up for Bijan to get into the end zone. Outside of that, I don't like this. Paulie, camera. Oh, Falcons. I'm getting all my picks.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I'm getting all my picks mixed up. The camera's on JJ right now. Paulie is JJ McCarthy landing in the top 10 going to Atlanta. Probably not, right? Because they just signed
no,
Kirk Cousins.
picks already in. So, I mean,
I can't imagine they do that.
Chicago now does – Chicago might go best defense. Chicago has the top 3 receivers.
It's not Chicago. It's Atlanta.
I know, but he's not – the pick's in. They're not trading his pick. It would have said trade. So, Atlanta's not drafting him. So, JJ could fall out of the top 10 now.
Pavo, Atlanta Falcons, their team needs edge, corner, D-line, linebacker, wide receiver.
I think Turner makes sense here.
Turner out of – is he the edge? Is he the –
out of Alabama.
Okay. That would make sense. If you're Atlanta, that makes sense. Excuse me, anyone viewing, excuse me before saying Atlanta doing Atlanta things. I thought I got my picks mixed up. J.C. Latham is a Tennessee Titan. I am a fool. J.C. Latham's a Titan. Matt is an idiot. I agree with you, Paul. I think I could see them going edge here. It makes the most sense.
I think it should be Turner.
But you know what? You know what? It would not shock me here. It would not shock me, ladies and gentlemen, if the Atlanta Falcons go with Rome Odunze out of Washington here. They just signed Kirk Cousins. They're paying a lot of money for him. They used a first-round pick.
You got Bijan. You have Pitts. You have what's his name? Drake London. Like, you gotta go get yourself some either.
Listen, we just saw it with the Giants. We just saw it with the Giants. The logical decision would have been quarterback or tackle. What did they do? They took a receiver. Would not shock me if they take Rome Odunze. I'm with you. I think they're going edge, but it wouldn't shock me if they go.
They should go edge, or they should go an offensive lineman here. So,
let me know when you got it. Wow, Paulie! Oh my God, Paul! Oh, Paulie! I'm a size extra large.
Wow, what was the bet? I still got JJ McCarthy to go in the first top 10.
That's true. That's true. We got 2 more picks in the top 10. This is crazy. This is absurd. I did not expect this. I don't understand.
Listen, okay,
what the
let me
fuck
tell
Atlanta's
you.
doing. Go
You
off, Paul.
drafted one of the oldest quarterbacks to sit behind Kirk Cousins for 2 years? Like, if anything, you draft JJ McCarthy here, and because he's young, this guy's already like 24, 25 years old. Wow.
I'm shocked.
Wow.
I'm shocked. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback out of Washington. Listen, before I go off on Michael Penix here, I'll give Michael Penix this. Michael Penix had a great season. When the lights came on for him this year, and we're just talking college ball here, we're not talking the NFL. When the lights came on for Michael Penix, he absolutely shined. Okay, he looked great.
This might go down as one of the worst picks that I've ever seen.
He looked great against Texas. He's got a hell of an arm. I'll give him that. Not a lot of mobility, and against Michigan. I mean, listen, he ran into a buzzsaw at that point. Michigan was probably the best college team we've seen in a long time, but we've seen the past 2 years of Georgia. But Michael Penix, that's the good with him, right? Definitely shined when the lights were bright. The bad, like you just said, Paul, he's 26. He's played at 2 programs.
He's 24.
Not a lot of mobility, a lot of injuries, man. That's the
Listen,
one thing.
if anyone gives this grade over a D, you're just like, and listen, this is why. If you didn't have Kirk Cousins, sure, give it a B.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
You literally just signed Kirk Cousins. And now let me ask you this question. What if Kirk Cousins isn't ready to start the season and Penix plays well? Then you're just sitting with $60 million, $90 million guaranteed that you gave Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, but listen, in the NFL, you're never fired because you spent money. You're fired.
No,
because
you're
you
not.
lose.
But I'm talking just about how you built your team.
Totally agree. But
everything that if you don't give this a D, then you got to give the Kirk Cousins signing a D now. Like Zoe was just here, like, oh, what if they drafted Jay McCarthy? I looked at her, I'm like, they're not drafting a quarterback because they
signed Kirk Cousins. Exactly.
Cousins.
That's
wow.
That's insane. That's insane. I'm shocked.
I really wonder who.
But now, Paul, I did. Remember, we were talking a while ago, and I said someone's gonna fall in love with this guy's arm and his story and what he's done this year, and they're gonna use up a top pick on him, and they did, and that's good. That's crazy.
Good. What's gonna happen when they're gonna take away their first round pick next year for them? What's it called? The tampering with Kirk Cousins. I've heard it could be a first round pick. So then you gave up a first round pick to get Kirk Cousins. You gave him $90 million, and then you drafted an old quarterback.
That's insane. Listen, I don't think we've got any. Oh, there we go. Another Michigan fan chiming in. Sunny days of the racetrack. That's my boy Vaccaro. Michigan is the best college team. Yes, they are. And they are the reason I'm probably going to have to get my nipples pierced because I made a stupid bet 10 years ago. So good job, Matt. MC chiming in. Polka Boy is so hot. Paulie, you got some fans. Who's MC, Paulie? Is that
it's Mark Kinane. That's my brother-in-law. What up, Mark?
Bears pick is in. So we just talked about Michael Penix. God bless you, Atlanta. Keep fucking up. Chicago, their needs, edge rusher, quarterback, which they got, D tackle, wide receiver.
They could get the best. They could do exactly what Houston and get the best defensive player now in Turner off the edge. I don't mind that pick by you. I mean, I think they should. Who?
You think Turner goes here?
No, Turner, yeah.
No, I'm saying Chop Robinson. You think they go after Chop?
No, Chop's not even close now. I think they can go him or they go tackle here.
The viewership keeps going up, so thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Keep chiming in the comments.
Bears are just a joke. Like they're wow. Can't wait till you can't protect Kelly for what?
I'm on the opposite here, you Paul. I'm on the opposite. I think this is a good pick. I would have went once again. I would have went offensive
because you guys are like fantasy fan, like
no. Listen.
Like, what's good about this pick? You got one of the worst offensive lines in football. You just drafted a quarterback that's your franchise. We saw Justin Fields go down after injury and hit and can't protect him, and he had weapons to throw to. You've drafted receivers, tight ends in the second round. You got DJ Moore. You gave up. You have Keenan Allen, and then you really needed this player. Like,
so listen. There's a lot of great offensive linemen on the board still. I would have done that, but they chose to go Rome Odunze. I don't think it's an awful pick. In my opinion, I think Rome Odunze was the best. I think he was probably the best wide receiver in this draft. The guy's a vertical threat. He's great route runner. He's tall. I got no problem with this. I would have went offensive line. I would have taken Fashanu or Fuaga. I would have rather known that Caleb was being protected a little better, but you went out and you got the best wide receiver, so you got him a weapon to throw to. It makes sense. It's not what I would have done. It's not what you would have done, Paul, but it's not something that's
I watched the Lions draft like this for years. I watch other bad organizations draft like this for years. And this is just another reason why like the Bears will continue being a bad organization. So but you don't develop your quarterback killing organization because you can't protect your quarterbacks. When's the last time the Bears had a good O-line? Like, when did you fear their
O-line? Probably
O-line?
2010 with Jay Cutler when they went to the NFC Championship. Outside of that,
I mean, did they even have one? That defense was so dominant. Whatever, good for them.
I mean, listen, he's.
Did Minnesota just traded 10? Yeah, they traded with the Jets. They're taking JJ. Good for them. They moved up a spot to get in front of Denver.
So Minnesota's needs.
Yeah, Bo Nix here.
No way. No, I think they're taking.
This is the difference between you getting a Penei Sewell jersey or not. Right here, for free, with my 40% discount.
Minnesota Vikings team needs, like we just said, quarterback. They need D-line. They need interior O-line. Could probably use another wide receiver. Definitely edge and corner. They need help all over the field. Paul, you think they're going quarterback? I agree with you.
100%.
I think that's why they traded up.
They traded up to get in front of Denver.
And if you're the Jets here, this was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
You're getting extra draft capital for taking someone that you were probably going to take anyway with that 10th pick. Right? If the Jets were going to take, thank you, baby. If the Jets were going to take a wide receiver or an offensive tackle, whatever they were going to do at 10, they could do at 11. I'm interested in seeing what the draft compensation.
This is a great thing because they wanted to secure. Well, no, Minnesota was picking 11.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Jets probably call them and say, "Hey, listen, we have an offer from Denver. You know,
right.
They want to pop, or they at least pretended they did,
right?
And got them to bite on it. And you know, I'm sure they maybe gave up. Who knows what they gave up here? They could have gave up a second, a third. But I bet you they gave up a second or third or a third next year. So
I'm so stupid. I went to have a sip of my beer and I got the beer confused with the microphone, and it looks like I just tried to make out with the microphone. We're all over the place here.
I'm gonna see after this pick is, and I'm gonna get off for a few and I'll get back on.
You got it.
Dude, this is my thing to get. I need this pick. Dude, I cannot believe Bo Nix.
For 2 bets here.
How does Zoe, how do you feel about – do you know Zoe? Do you remember Bo Nix? Penix? He got drafted by Atlanta? No, early. Do you remember watching him play? Penix? Penix played he was a quarterback for Washington. When Michigan played him in the national championship and we destroyed him. He could barely walk. Yeah, you remember him limping off the field.
So now, Paulie,
yeah,
if they don't go quarterback here, which we're going to assume they are, but we're at a commercial break. There's nothing else we could do right now. Yeah. If they do not go quarterback, where do you think they're going here? Do you think they traded up to take an edge rusher?
I mean, it would have to be
something the Jets didn't need, obviously.
It would have to be like they know who the Jets want and that's who they want, so they fool them thinking it's gonna be a quarterback. So like, who do the Jets want? Maybe like Jets would. It would have to be someone they think the Jets would trade. So an offensive lineman possibly. Jets need an offensive lineman. So it would probably have to be someone they thought the Jets were going to take. So I would probably say it would be one of the tackles. Because there's no other reason to make the pick. Denver's probably going QB. And you probably want to trick them thinking you're going to go QB, but you're really going to go who they want.
What are they doing here? Let's see. Where's Roger Goodell?
I don't think the Jets could take Dallas Turner. I mean, they just traded for Hassan Reddick.
JJ
Jets
just
are
got
gonna,
off the phone. He's smiling. Everyone's laughing. Is that a cue? So ESPN is on, and NFL Network is not. There's still a commercial break here.
ESPN's on.
Yeah. He keeps looking over at that phone. I think it's going to be JJ.
It's gonna be JJ. That's gonna suck watching him in Minnesota. Him and Sam Darnold got the same haircut.
It almost looks like, but it's not because it's straight hair. It's not curly hair, but it almost looks like that new fuckboy haircut that all the kids you see in high school now. Rocket, it's just shaved to the sides. And honestly, it looks like those old Bosley commercials. Like the kids that are doing that, they look like those old Bosley commercials where people would get their pubes stapled into their fucking head. You know what I'm talking about? Like hair plugs and shit. Let's see what the Vikings do here. Mel Kiper's going off about something. Probably Michael Penix Jr. going to Atlanta. This is crazy. I really did. I did not expect this. I expected the
Jets
Vikings
already
to move
5
up.
minutes in. Come on, get up there and make the pick.
They like to add some suspense.
This is exactly JJ. He just said it. Is Bo Nix 26? No, is Penix 26?
Yeah, I don't know if he's 26, but he's in his mid-20s, definitely.
He just said 26. Mel Kiper, but I don't understand how you, even if he's 24, why would you draft Penix right here at 8 just to sit? Penix is a quarterback that should go somewhere and be ready to play. If you're not ready to play at 24, 25, you're never going to be ready. Hendon Hooker's situation was different. Hassan Reddick was coming out. Hendon Hooker was coming off an ACL injury. Oh man, what the fuck are they bringing out here?
Some family. Let's see.
People are.
Oh, it's someone that passed away in the military.
Oh. Pat Tillman.
Vikings pick is in. Goodell really knows how to sell some suspense here. Here we go.
Ooh. Kid looks like Beavis and Butthead. Doesn't that kid look like Beavis and Butthead?
Which one?
The little kid in the front. Which one is it? Beavis or which one has the long hair? Or Dirt? The Dirt kid, Dirt Joe Dirt.
You could say Joe Dirt.
He's gonna make the pick.
Looks like it's JJ. JJ McCarthy, Michigan.
He's so nervous, this kid.
Oh, I ruined that. I'm sorry, Paul. All right, Paulie, sound off. This is your quarterback. This is your boy. Played for your Wolverines. Won you a national championship.
They got the best leader probably in this whole entire draft. They're a total team player. Can make every throw. I was listening to someone talking. This is the closest guy to Joe Burrow. All those quarterbacks that you guys love, that you guys name after all these years, you and Pat and talking and everyone talking about, all they did was put up numbers in their 4th and 5th year in colleges. This guy, You know what? If he came back for another year or two in the pro game in the college game, he would have put up those numbers. If Harbaugh let him open up, he would have put up those numbers. But he's unselfish. He bought into the system, but played the system. I mean, this is a great pick. So look at that throw. I mean,
Paulie, before you jump off, I'm going to run to the little boys' room very quickly.
yeah. Now I hope he tears his ACL in Minnesota. I didn't realize that. Man, it's gone here. But I mean, this is just a great pick from Minnesota. And even if they want to bring him in a little slow and they have Sam Darnold there, but I think he's being ready to play right away. I love this pick from Minnesota. This is going to really suck watching Minnesota, having him play for Minnesota. But they got themselves an ultimate leader.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great pick. I like this. This is a guy, you could argue some of the production if you want to, but he's got the completion percentage.
I mean, I really don't understand when people say production. His completion percentage was in the 70s.
Yeah.
He completed and threw passes when he could. He had a high completion percentage over 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards downfield. They ran the ball. They had a good run game. He's part of the reason they had a really good run game. People respected him. He was smart. It's. I can see if you tell me they didn't want to put it in his hands because he only completes 55 passes, 60.
Right.
His interceptions are 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I mean, he doesn't throw picks.
If you were to have any concerns with JJ, I mean, you watched him closely. You watch every Michigan game. What would your concerns be, if you have any?
The truth is, this draft's a crapshoot. For whatever reason, half these picks that we've seen gone by here, probably 3 are going to be really good players, or 4 excellent Pro Bowlers.
Right.
Probably 3 guys or 4 that we've seen even in the top 10 probably won't even have their 5th-year option picked up. And that's the truth of this. So who knows what could happen with JJ, concerns. As far as what is there not to like about a guy who's almost 6'4"? What is there not like to like about like a guy who's 225? What is there not to like about a guy who runs up high 4.4s?
And I don't know if you said this before, but definitely something that certainly helped his case and only made him look better was he was one of the only guys that threw at the combine. I believe it was him, and was it Penix? Was Penix the other one that threw?
Too, yeah.
Right. So, and those are 2 guys that maybe not everybody had going top 10 in the beginning. Now went top 10. So
yeah. As far as on paper, all that what do you like? That's something like Jay. Like, what can you hate about him? Like, only thing someone can says is like, oh, hold on, let's see here.
All right. Jets go. I'll wait.
There you go.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Jets go Olu Fashanu.
So seriously, has there ever been a draft that the first 11 picks are all offense?
I don't know. That's actually
not one
really
defensive player taken.
That's nuts. Olu Fashanu. Paul, do you have anything? You saw a little bit of Penn State. Do you have anything on Fashanu or no? Because I could. I got a little something here. Let me close this window.
Yeah.
All right. We got some Jet fans here in the chat. Jet fans, chime in. Olu Fashanu, Penn State left tackle, 6'6", 320. That's great fighting weight. I like that. One thing I noticed about Olu, he played great against Ohio State. That's the number 2 team in the Big Ten. and he looked great against them. He had a couple bad snaps, but other than that, loved what he did. I think he definitely holds a little less than Joe Alt does. Michigan fooled him a little with their stunting with the D end going inside and sending an outside linebacker, but that's something I think that can be corrected once he gets to the NFL. Olu Fashanu does not physically impress you with size the way Joe Alt does, but I think he's better. I think he's more pro ready. I saw what looked to me like less mental lapses in his game than in Joe Alt's. And the issues that you see with Olu Fashanu are things that with good coaching are fixable. He's a steady guy that controls his body well. I'd feel much better taking him in the top 10 over Alt. And I think he's less of a project than Joe Alt is. I think Olu Fashanu, to me, in my opinion, he wasn't my favorite left tackle that I watched play, but he's the most pro ready. If we're talking about guys that could step in day one and could protect your quarterback, set up your run game, that's Olu Fashanu. So Jet fans, if you're listening, like I said, chime in. Jet fans, you should be happy. You should be thrilled with this. You basically lost your season in week 1 because of poor offensive line play. Aaron Rodgers had a total of 4 snaps before he went down with a torn Achilles, and down the drain went the New York Jets 2023 season. I think you're taking a step in the right direction. Who's ever behind center, who's ever under center for the Jets next year, things are going to be much better with Olu Fashanu blocking for them.
Dude, Paul, everyone is giving the Falcons an F. Just straight up everybody. It's worse than I thought. They gave Kirk Cousins $180 million contract a month ago.
How many years?
This is incredible. What they did, the people are just saying this is bizarre. This isn't even like Aaron Rodgers, and they're right. No one gets it.
Wow, Jet fans, where are we? We got 33 people in the stream here, and I got no comments after this Jets pick. I thought this was the bulk of my viewers. I guess maybe I thought it was Giant fans too, but it's been radio silence here. Jet fans, what do we think? Are you excited? I know it's not a sexy pick, but it's a guy that's going to block for your quarterback, a guy that, I mean, essentially the Jets are putting all their hopes and dreams in the right arm of Aaron Rodgers. The best way to protect that, the best way to protect that investment is to put a guy like Olu Fashanu there blocking for him. And it does help that you just signed Tyron Smith. I mean, he's older. He's got some injury issues. But if you could get at least like 8-9 games out of both Tyron Smith and Olu Fashanu playing on the field at the same time, I think that would be a home run for the Jets.
Falcons get an F for Penix pick. Failure on every single level. Oh man, this is incredible. Even this I can't even move on after this pick. I've never seen anything like this happen. Dude, I feel like there has to be something that we don't know. Like, is there something that Kirk Cousins isn't healing? Is it that are they trading Penix later or something?
Dude,
are they holding on to Penix?
You could tell me that Kirk Cousins was on an Epstein flight list, and I still wouldn't tell you drafting Michael Penix at number 8 was a good idea. But listen, here's what I will say, Paul. And the only thing I could say to defend the Falcons here is everybody gave us a C and a D for drafting Jahmyr Gibbs last year at 12, and that seemed to work out pretty well. So, listen, maybe the Falcons know something we don't. Maybe they think they could do something with Michael Penix. Maybe.
Look, since they gave the combine was in February, free agency started in March.
I don't know.
Like I get it if you sign Kirk Cousins and then the combine came, you're like, holy shit, we're blown away. We're gonna figure out a way to get rid of Kirk Cousins in a year. And I mean, listen, that's
maybe
what
we find out something. Maybe you're right. Maybe we find out something about Kirk Cousins in the next couple of days. Maybe something's up with Kirk.
Maybe we're gonna hear about a video coming out here shortly that Kirk Cousins was drag racing in Atlanta and he left his car and he's gonna be suspended. Oh man,
Broncos pick is in.
soon.
I gotta get myself a
Bo
sweatshirt.
Nix needs to go either this pick or that. Listen, they're probably gonna go Turner. They'll get their next what's our boy our DN from oh my god, what's the DN from the Broncos? What's a DN from the Broncos? Why can't I remember? Is who went to the Chargers?
What happened?
What's a DN? Why can't I remember the DN from the Broncos? Like the
Von
stud,
Miller?
Von Miller. Maybe they go Turner and get their next Turner. Whoa.
Maybe they go Turner here. Well, the Broncos team needs are quarterback, D-line, cornerback, safety, interior O-line, wide receiver, edge. Once again, another team that needs a hell of a lot. I could see them going quarterback, but Jesus, to take Bo Nix here is like, oh my God.
Oh, Nick!
Oh my God.
Bo
Not a
Nix!
single defensive player taken yet.
This is I would almost be willing to bet. They just said it right now. Hold on.
This has to be the first time that's ever happened.
Dude, he looks like the next what's his name when they just traded to Seattle, the quarterback? They look the same, him and Bo Nix.
Oh my God, what the fuck is his name?
His name from Missouri, quarterback. You try comparing him to Stafford.
Oh, the kid that's always dancing. I forgot his name. Listen, Bo Nix had a decent career at Auburn. He had his moments where.
So what I say, is this six quarterbacks have gone? 6 quarterbacks in the top 12.
1, 2.
If you're the Lions now and you're sitting back now and you had this many offensive linemen, this is incredible.
Yeah, this is definitely best case scenario for the Lions.
This is for a Detroit team. This is as good as it can get. That these quarterbacks are gone, because I honestly thought that Bo Nix and Penix would be in the second round.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Bo Nix here. So, Bo Nix started his career at Auburn, eventually went over to Oregon. He had his moments in Auburn where people spoke really highly of him. He had these moments where you thought he was going to get to that next level, but he never really did. He transfers to Oregon. He saw a lot of success with Dan Lanning over there. But still, when it mattered the most, whether it was against Washington in the regular season or against Washington in the what conference that's now dead? The Pac-12. In the Pac-12 championship, when they needed him the most, he really didn't come through. He really didn't look well. He did not look very good with that pass rush in his face. He's definitely mobile. I mean, the guy could run all over the field, but you do have to wonder if you're a Broncos fan, like. And listen, I'll give Joel. I think Joel Klatt's on the NFL Network panel here, so Joel Klatt could definitely speak to Bo Nix a heck of a lot more than I could. Joe Klatt predicted this. He had said this months ago that he thought Bo Nix was going to be a Denver Bronco. He said fit perfectly in Sean Payton's system and what Sean wants to do. Sean doesn't want a quarterback to improvise. He wants to tell a quarterback what to do, and I guess that's where Bo Nix fits in. But he's another one, just like Michael Penix. He's been in college football for a long time. This is a guy that I want to say was in college football for like 6 or 7 years, got that extra COVID year. I don't think I would have done this, but, Denver's, I guess, desperate for a quarterback, and the options were running out. And maybe they were one of those teams that wanted.
Between Caleb, Jaden, and Drake May, one of those guys is going to turn out to be a bust. Penix, I mean, I don't know. I don't get what's their plan with Penix. Like, I really would like to hear them make the intro. Are they going to say, hey, listen, like, we want him to sit back and learn for a couple of years?
Well, if Kirk ain't ready, he's gonna have to play, like you said.
Yeah, when did Kirk tear his Achilles? So that's my question. What if Penix looks really good? Like, you just know. Hey, we're going to sit down. I mean.
Wow. Did not see that coming. Let me know when you got it, Paul. I don't want to ruin it for you.
I mean, it's a great pick for them.
That's a great pick. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
had their
I
needs.
still don't understand why we're not seeing like Dallas Turner or one of these cornerbacks go off the board here. It's
And that's another offensive player. 13 straight offensive players here.
he doesn't even look happy.
Brock Bowers, no, 14. 14. Oh, no, 13. New Orleans 14. So Raiders team needs I had here an offensive tackle, quarterback, interior. So essentially the whole offensive line, quarterback, corner, and linebacker. Surprising that they went with Brock Bowers, but also not surprising. This is a guy that was considered the best player in college football for the past couple of seasons now. He had some injury issues this year. But outside of that, this is a guy we've been talking about in the SEC at Georgia for the past 3 seasons. He's dominating. No linebacker could touch this guy. Pretty much at a certain point, no safety could touch this guy. He's a phenomenal tight end. And, seeing from I guess a Lions fan's perspective here, from me and Paul, seeing the difference that Sam Laporta made in the Detroit Lions offense last year maybe motivated the Raiders who had played against us. And I want to say Laporta probably scored against them too.
Who's the Raiders quarterback?
They just traded for someone. I don't know. I think they cut Garoppolo. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know who the Raiders quarterback is, but this is a good pick. Brock Bowers is a guy that's going to catch everything you throw at him. He's a guy that can block. What?
Isn't that like a joke that we don't know who their quarterback is?
Well, I mean, if you're the Raiders,
it's O'Connell. They don't have anyone.
If you're the Raiders, though, Paul, like what? All
do you
the quarterbacks
do you try to go get Kirk Cousins?
Maybe there's a trade worked out there.
They have Minshew.
Potentially. Gardner Minshew.
All right, listen, I'll hop back on in a little bit.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Jump in whenever. Right. Thanks, Paul.
All right, guys. Yep.
Good move here for the Raiders. Good. Ooh. A little messy there. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna switch back to solo screen here. Oh, that's a right click. There we go. Great pick by the Raiders. I can't fault this at all. I was talking about it before. Brock Bowers is a guy that could certainly block like a tackle and catch like a receiver. He is the quintessential tight end. If God drew up a tight end, it would look like Brock Bowers. That's certainly what it looked like at the college game. I believe we're going to continue to see that in the NFL. He's a guy that's got NFL size. He's got NFL hands. And he's been doing it in one of the 2 best conferences in college football over the past 3 seasons. I mean, this is not just a guy that came on the scene in 2023. If anything, 2023 was probably his worst season, and that's because of the injuries. And I mean, if Georgia hadn't lost and if they hadn't lost the SEC championship, if they were in the playoff, you probably would have seen Brock Bowers play in the playoff as well and go for a 3rd college football national championship. So good for him. Good for the Raiders. Raiders finally make a good front office decision. And hey, listen, maybe Paul's onto something. Maybe there is a trade at quarterback in the works, and that would be great for them because, just getting Brock Bowers with no one to throw to him, that's a disaster. But there's nothing you could do about that. Right now, in this moment, if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, there is nothing you could do about your quarterback position. All the best quarterbacks were taken literally in front of you. That's 6 or 7 quarterbacks. J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. All these guys were taken in front of the Raiders. I think they were in between a rock and a hard place. If they really wanted to move up, if they really believed in J.J. McCarthy, they could have moved up there and snagged him with that Jets pick, but they didn't. They didn't, and they believed, I guess, more heavily in Brock Bowers. And if you are the Raiders, and that's the situation, I think the Raiders kind of let the draft come to them. They let it play out in front of them, and they saw a golden opportunity, right? They saw a guy. This is probably a guy that they looked at and said, "There's no way he falls to us at 13." But in the event that he does, we've got to pull the trigger on him, even if tight end is not our biggest need. Even if there's other guys we could have taken that would maybe benefit this organization more than a tight end would. I think you still can't go wrong with this. This is a guy that, like I said, has been dominating the SEC for the past 3 years. He's a guy that was unguardable, hard to penetrate when he was blocking. The guy does everything right. It's very hard to argue this pick. Great step forward for the Las Vegas Raiders, and another interesting team to watch in the second round or possibly later in this first round to see what else they do tonight. But I think this is probably it. They're probably going to shut it down, move on to tomorrow. We move on to the Saints here. Saints needs, like a lot of other teams that have picked already, are all over the place. They need an offensive tackle. They need D-line. They need wide receiver and corner. They could really use help all across the offensive line. They definitely could use some help at tight end. But now that Brock Bowers is off the board, I definitely could have seen Brock Bowers going there, right? You think back to the days of Jimmy Graham, and Drew Brees dominating the NFC South and throwing all over the place. Those days are now long gone. The New Orleans Saints need to find a way to get back on top of the NFC South. What do they do here? I'll be honest with you. I could probably see offensive tackle. I could see offensive tackle here. There was a run on receiver there's been a run on the offense in general. There has not been a single defensive player taken yet. I don't see them going. I don't see them going edge or D line. That really wouldn't make sense. I see them probably going with the trend here, and going and staying in the offense and probably at offensive tackle. The offensive tackles that are still left, my favorite, Taliese Fuaga. J.C. Latham's gone. Mims, the offensive tackle from Georgia. Not far, right down the road from New Orleans. I'm sure they got a good look at him. They watch a lot of SEC down there. Mims is a really good tackle as well. His only issue is injuries. And like we always say, the best ability is availability, but plays at a good fighting weight, 340 pounds. He's 6'7". So that's definitely an option there. If I'm New Orleans, you're still kind of rebuilding this thing. I'm going to say it about everybody. Everybody that needs an offensive tackle at this point, my vote would be Taliese Fuaga. This is the best tackle. He's a guy that could play guard if you want him to play guard. He's heavy. He's 332. So I imagine if you want him to play guard, maybe you have him knock off a couple of pounds. But he's 6'5". He's a big boy. He plays physical. So let's see what they do here. But that would be my vote. If I'm New Orleans, I'd be going offensive tackle. I'd be taking Taliese Fuaga out of Oregon State. He dominated his competition at the Pac-12. Did not have too many bad games. And he's been fantastic. So, and if you're thinking about going wide receiver here, if you're New Orleans, I don't know really at this point who's left that is there really that much a difference in the guy you can get now as opposed to the guy you could trade back to 2025 and get? The best guys were taken. Marvin Harrison Jr., the kid out of LSU, Malik Neighbors, right? Brock Bowers was taken. There we go. Taliese Fuaga, Oregon State. Let's get right into it, Saints fans. I probably don't have any Saints fans here, but if you are a Saints fan, like we say with every other team, chime in. Let us know. Saints fans, you should be thrilled with this. Another Polynesian from the great state of Hawaii. What I noticed about Taliese Fuaga that really stood out to me, that really impressed me, was that he's 332 pounds. At least that's what it says on paper, but he does not play like he's 332 pounds. This guy's got twinkle toes. He moves all over the field, moves very well. They do a lot of different things with him. They pull him, they move him around the field. He looked great. Listen, he's raw. He is not as polished as some of the other guys that were taken in front of him. He is not as polished as Joe Alt. He is not as polished as Olu Fashanu. He does not necessarily, look NFL ready I shouldn't say NFL ready. He doesn't look like he's going to be an all-pro next year, right? But I think 10 years from now, this is a guy we're going to be talking about. This is a guy that is going to be setting setting records at that position. This is a guy that I think 10 years from now may be the most expensive tackle in the NFL. I really believe that. He's more raw, like I said, but he plays ruthless. He plays mean. He plays violent. This is a guy that reminds me of Penei Sewell on the Lions. He is a guy that plays physical. He doesn't want to block you. He doesn't want to put you in the dirt. He wants to rip your head off and kill you, and that's what you want to see. And what's so impressive about it is that he plays violent. He plays aggressive, but he doesn't get in his own way. He lets his emotions flow through him, but he does not let them control him, and that is what's most impressive. Typically, when you've got these high motor guys that play with energy, that play like they're ready to kill you, that play like they want to knock your head off, they commit penalties and they grab the face mask or they talk and they get a flag thrown. Something like that happens. No, it does not happen with Taliese Fuaga. He is as conservative as you could be while still being aggressive. He's gritty. I mean, this is a Dan Campbell guy. I was really, really, really hoping he would fall to 21, 22, 23, and maybe the Lions were going to jump up from 29 and grab him. Nonetheless, that does not happen. New Orleans, you got a stud, and it's not going to look like that from day one. It's probably not going to look like that next year. There's going to be some growing pains with this guy, but New Orleans fans, be patient. Be patient with this guy. This guy is ruthless. Ruthless. He plays with wicked intensity, high energy 24/7. He is the Energizer Bunny. Those of you younger people that don't know, if you don't know what the Energizer Bunny is, you're probably really young, actually, because that's not that long ago. I have never enjoyed watching an offensive tackle play as much as I enjoyed Taliese Fuaga. He's got great hands, does not resort to holding. He's able to block you with his whole body, and he doesn't have to hold you to do so. That's impressive. That's very impressive. I know the Pac-12 is not the most difficult conference to play in. It's not the SEC. It's not the Big Ten, sure, but that's not in his control. This man could only control who he was. He could only control who was in front of him, or rather, how he looked in front of him. And he looked fantastic. He's got insane upper body strength. The guy straight up powers pass rushers. He throws them like a rag doll. I mean, that's the shit you want to see from your offensive tackle. You want to see your offensive tackle manhandling other people, embarrassing other people. And that's what he did all season long last year. The footwork needs to be improved, but once again, like I said with the other two guys, that's something that a good offensive line coach in the NFL can take care of, can help out. So I'm not worried about his footwork. I think he's going to be just fine. Overall, not as polished as not as polished as Alt or Fashanu. Both these guys are pro ready, but I believe Fuaga has the higher ceiling. I think 10 years from now, he will be talked about more and will make more money. He's got some things to clean up, footwork, for example. Maybe won't have a better rookie year, but 2-3 years from now, I think he's elite. He reminds me of Penei Sewell, just a little more slender, not as bigger in frame. I love this kid. I believe I want to say he's like 22, 23. So he's not old. He's not like some of these older guys. He actually, honestly, might even be younger. He might be like 21, so he could still fill out a little more. But I've never been so impressed. I've never been so impressed watching a young offensive tackle play this game. I think he's a stud. I think he is a guy 20 years from now putting on a Hall of Fame jacket, or 30 years from now, whatever it may be. I really think that. And I very rarely say that. Watching him, that's the only thing I could say. It reminded me of Penei Sewell. I mean, you see him play with a tenacity. You see him play like he's ready to rip the guy in front of him, rip that guy's head off, and that's what I want to see out of my offensive tackle. And your quarterback only feels more and more comfortable back there when he's got a guy like Taliese Fuaga that's willing to fight and claw and bleed to get that extra yard and to push that guy. He looked great in the run game. He looked great in the pass game. You know, like I said, the only thing you could say about him is that he's raw. He's raw. You know, his footwork is a little off. His technique, he doesn't blow you away with his technique. Okay, fine. That's things that'll get improved. That's things that, years into the league, he figures out. What you can't teach is physicality. What you can't teach is a desire to rip that guy's head off. That's not something you can teach. That's just something you're born with. We see this a lot out of the Polynesian guys that come into the NFL, the Haloti-Ngatas, the Penei Sewells, mine's going blank, Troy Polamalu. Those type of guys play with such a physicality and tenacity, and you can't teach that. And that's what I fell in love with Tyrese Fuaga, and I was really, really, really hoping, like I said, that he was going to make his way to Detroit somehow, some way. But obviously, did not happen. He's way too good of a player. Jet fans, I wish this was the guy you guys took. I do. I think Olu Fashanu is fine. I think he's a fine left tackle. I think he's more pro ready. I think this year, Olu Fashanu and Joe Alt are probably going to look better than Tyrese Fuaga. But I don't think 10 years from now we're going to be saying that same thing. I just don't think that. So we'll see. Colts pick is in. The Colts team needs corner, edge, safety, wide receiver, linebacker, and they take Laiatu Latu, edge from UCLA. So this was a guy that some people had actually mocked was going to fall to 29 or 28 to, either the Lions or the Chiefs, something like that. It's a little surprising he went this high, but this was another guy that a lot of people talked about. And good for the Colts, man. Colts need help all over the field. They gave up a lot of points last year. I don't know where they ranked defensively, but I know it wasn't good. And good for them. Good for them for addressing that. It is so hard to find quality edge rushers within the NFL. It is. I mean, it's on the offensive side, we talk about the importance of the quarterback. We talk about how important that position is and why they're paid so high. After quarterbacks, you look at some of the highest paid players in the NFL. Yeah, receivers, yeah, left tackles, but it's edge rushers, and the Colts just address that, and hopefully they have their guy. I'm not sure on his size. I don't know what he weighs in at. He looks like he's got a solid frame on him though, and but once again, just like how I was talking about Fuaga, you could say a knock on him is that played in the Pac-12. Maybe the competition isn't as great, but you can't control those things. You can only control how you look on Saturdays, and he looked fantastic, and that's why the Colts are using that first round pick on him. And good for the Colts. Good for the Colts. This was a guy, like I said, I was eyeing for Detroit. I wanted him at edge. He went a lot earlier. And good for them. Looks a little slim. Looks like he definitely slimmed down for the draft, for the combine here, but definitely looks tall. I'm gonna run to the boys' room, folks. Stay right here. We'll be right back. Much appreciated. All right, we're back here. Colts just took Laiatu Latu. I definitely said his name wrong. I apologize, but he's probably not watching the stream anyway. Neither is his family. Seattle Seahawks are on the clock next. Interior offensive line. They got tight end, linebacker, safety, edge. They need a lot of help on defense. There's no doubt about it. They had a lot of guys leaving. I want to say they just cut Jamal Adams at safety. So they need all the help they can get. Another interesting point here. It took up to pick 15 to finally get a defensive player. So that's nuts. This has to be a first in NFL draft history. Definitely not since I've been alive has this ever happened. Seahawks. What do the Seahawks do here? Chime in the comments, guys. Let me know. What do we think? I think they're going defense. I think I don't know. I could see them going out getting a safety. I don't know what safeties are on the board here. Let's pull up the top 100 list. In terms of safety, not a lot here in the top 100. Kool-Aid McKinstry's ranked 26th here on SI.com, but he's a corner out of Bama. I mean, maybe you could say he could play safety. The next safety I see is Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. I never watched his film, so I can't really speak much to him. Very interesting to see what the Seahawks do. I mean, in terms of tight end is one of their needs, but I doubt they're going to use a first-round pick on him if Brock Bowers was still here. Definitely, but I doubt it. One thing to watch, one of their needs is interior offensive line, and there's two guys left that you guys should keep your eyes on here. Jackson Powers Johnson, the center out of Oregon, and Troy Fautanu, offensive tackle out of Washington. He's 6'4", 317. I would say he plays at more of a guard weight, and he's definitely more of a guard size. He's more of a guard frame. He moves like a guard. It would make the most sense to move him to the interior once he gets to the NFL. And that's something that if I'm Washington, I mean, that's probably not a bad decision. I don't know their quarterback situations. Like, I think whatever they've got there is not a permanent thing. Geno Smith is definitely not permanent. We saw that last year. And the kid they have behind them that came from Denver, me and Paul were talking about him before. I don't remember his name. But they don't have a permanent situation at quarterback. But at this point, they're picking way too far, and all the good quarterbacks are off the board. It would make sense to go interior offensive line here. I think that's what they're going to do, and I think they're going to take Jackson Powers Johnson. That would be my prediction. I think that's the smartest move for them to make here. Their pick is in, but we are at a commercial break on both NFL Network and the Seahawks and ESPN. Radio silence, folks. I apologize when they go to commercial break. I've kind of exhausted my notes here. There's not a whole lot else until Facino gets here and joins this live stream. There's not a whole lot I could really add other than those Seahawks needs. They missed the playoffs last year. They were a pretty solid team up until the end. They had just missed, so definitely bolstering that offensive line I think would help them the most. But like I said, they could also go defense. I don't see them going linebacker here. There's no linebackers that really, in terms of like off the ball linebackers, none of them really, jumped out at you. This was not a linebacker heavy draft. So I guess that does make an argument for them to go linebacker because there aren't a lot of good ones. Maybe they want to get the best guy in the draft now, but I don't see that, especially with Pete Carroll no longer being there. He's defensive minded. The guy that they brought in, I name is escaping me, and I don't know if he's offensive or defensive, but I don't see them going linebacker here. I see them either addressing the edge or going interior. And, being that they're in Seattle, I'm sure they got a great look at Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon anyway. Was probably pretty easy to interview him. An explosive guy, big boy, 6'3", 328. Short arms and small hands. That's a knock on him, but when it comes to playing center, you don't really need to have the biggest arms. You don't really need to have the biggest hands. You got to be a smart player. You got to be a physical player, and that's what he brings. That's what Jackson Powers Johnson brings, so that would make the most sense to me. But like I said, if they wanted to go Troy Fatanu, that wouldn't shock me either. That's a guy that's versatile. He could play inside. He could play outside. Like I said, his size caters to inside when it comes to the NFL, but he's talented. He's talented, so I'm sure in a pinch he could definitely play on the outside. But there's some good D tackles left here. I mean, there hasn't been the only defensive player was a D end, and that was Latu. So the kid out of Texas, Byron Murphy's available. He's a stud D tackle out of Texas. A lot of people liked him. Terrion Arnold, the starting cornerback out of Alabama, the number 1 guy, he's still available. Kenyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, he's still around. Cooper Dijon, cornerback out of Iowa. So any Lions fans tuning in right now, or any fan of a team that needs a corner, there's plenty of great corners still left. I wonder if we're going to see a run here now because of how heavy the top of the draft was on offensive players, specifically quarterbacks. I wonder if we're going to see a defensive run now here. I wonder if we're going to see a bunch of teams, now that the Colts just went edge, do we see more teams addressing edge and corner because they're in a rush because the Colts did it? Who knows? I would imagine we're going to stick with this offensive trend, but a very interesting draft thus far. Definitely not what I anticipated. If you told me there's going to be 14 straight offensive picks, I would have told you whatever you're smoking. I'd love to have some too, because no way that would have happened, especially at the high rate that edge rushers go in today's game. Oh. Wow. Okay. Byron Murphy. So I thought they were going to go with the Oregon Center. They didn't. They went Byron Murphy, interior defensive lineman out of the University of Texas. Big boy. You see him on the screen right now. Big boy. And definitely played some of his best ball when the lights were on there for Texas. I mean, it was a hell of a season for Texas. Made it to the college football playoff for the first time in I think the first time in their history, because the last time they were in a national championship was like 2010 or whatever, right, with Colt McCoy. So Texas had a great defensive front. They had a great season, and a lot of that was attributed to Byron Murphy. The guy's got size. You see him shedding blockers. Here on the screen, he penetrates into the backfield. He's a big boy. Made a name for himself this year. This was a guy that a lot of people were talking about going into the draft, possibly going top 10. So the fact that the Seahawks just landed him at 16, good for them. The game is won and lost in the trenches. The game is won and lost in the trenches. The best teams in the NFL, the teams that you see playing in the NFC and AFC championship year after year after year, are teams with the best guys up front. And the Seahawks just addressed that. They went out and they brought in a guy at D tackle that could rush the passer, that could play the run too. This is a guy you could line up at nose tackle. It's a guy you could line up in the 3 technique. You could line him up wherever you want, and this guy and Byron Murphy will find success on the football field because of his size, because of his strength, because of his speed. And it's a great pick. I can't disagree with this one bit. I think this is great. I'm a little biased because I'm a Texas fan, but I think this is a great pick for Seattle. I think this is the right thing to do. And it looks like I thought the Jaguars were picking 17th, but I guess they're not. It looks like that's going to be the Vikings. It looks like that's going to be the Vikings. I had thought, when were the Vikings? Okay, so it looks like the Vikings traded down from 23 to 17. So now I guess the Jaguars are going to pick at 23 for the Vikings. What are the Vikings doing here? Why did they trade back in? Why did they trade back in? Are they going defense, right? That's now 2 straight defensive players that just came off the board. Do we think the Vikings, with that last pick, with that pick at 10, the Vikings took JJ. Their needs were also D line, also interior offensive line. They were also receiver, edge, corner. So I see someone celebrating here, and I don't know who this is. Oh, no. The Jaguars are picking at 16. I'm sorry. They did not trade back. ESPN showing me that the Jaguars pick is in. Dallas Turner, edge, Alabama. Sorry about that, folks. We're all over the place. I'm running solo right now. I'm on fumes, long day of work. And now we're doing this. Edge rusher out of Alabama. Good for Jacksonville. Put somebody on the other side of Josh Allen to get after the quarterback, to stop the run. And just like some of these other guys, not Jacksonville, Turner played at Alabama. He played in the SEC. He played against some of the best offensive linemen you will see in the country. And he did it at a high level. This is another guy that we thought was going to potentially go top 10. Jacksonville snags him at 17. That's awesome. Good for them. Good pick. I mean, the one thing you saw out of Jacksonville this year was they would have a lead and they just couldn't keep it. They couldn't keep it because that defense could not get off the field for shit. They couldn't turn the ball over. They couldn't rush the passer. Just like Detroit, Josh Allen cannot do this on his own. They need somebody on the other side of him, and that really helps that now they're bringing in Turner. Oh, my God, no. Turner went to the Vikings. I'm sitting here saying Turner to Jacksonville. Regardless, if you're the Vikings and you're getting Dallas Turner, that's great. That's what you want to see. Good for them. Just like Jacksonville, a lot of teams passed all over that Vikings defense. They ran all over that Vikings defense, specifically the Lions. We saw them twice last year. They threw a shit ton against us, but man, did we throw against them, and did we do it at times late in the game when you need that pass rush to make a stop, when you need that pass rush to get a sack and slow the game down for the defense. So Dallas Turner should be the guy to do just that. It fills a need for them, and it was the right move. Conservative, but the right move for sure. I would love to get an update here on what happened to that Jacksonville pick. What happened to the Jax pick? We're going to ask our Jacksonville correspondent, Anthony Facino, what happened to Jacksonville, because I have both these TVs on mute so I don't get an echo. And I have no idea. No fucking clue what happened. But what we do know is that Turner is a Viking. And that is good for Minnesota. A lot of guys just did not really, and they lost what's his face? They lost that D end that I wanted. I keep thinking Everson Griffin, but that's not the case. 17 Vikings take Turner. So who's on the clock here? It looks like Cincinnati is on the clock. If we're correct. Okay, Cincinnati. What do they need? They need tight end. They need D line. They need interior offensive line, specifically edge, corner, wide receiver, offensive tackle. Well, what happened to the Bengals here? The Bengals this year lost Joe Burrow pretty early. He had that injury that was lingering. Something happened to him in the preseason. He went down in the preseason, and I want to say first 4 weeks he didn't play. Regardless, Burrow lost time. That offense cannot progress without Joe. I mean, and listen, that's not something that's only unique to Cincinnati. That's pretty much every offense in the NFL. You need your starting quarterback to do anything in this league. And the best way of keeping that guy upright, like some of these first few teams have done, would be to get an offensive lineman. As I said before, Fatanu is still on the board. Jackson Powers-Johnson is still on the board. Amarius Mims is still on the board. That's interesting. He is the right tackle out of Georgia. You could see Cincinnati go out and get him. I don't know who the starting tackles are in Cincinnati, but Mims is probably better than one of them. I can tell you that. If they don't do that, if they go with their need and they go at interior offensive line, then Fatanu and Powers Johnson make all the sense in the world. But now you're seeing a run on edge, right? There's three defensive linemen taken one right after the other. From a Lions standpoint, I don't really like to see that. But there's plenty of corners left, which is I guess a good thing here. If you're a Lions fan. The Bengals also need a tight end. Like I said, I don't see any more. I see Brock Powers being the one and only tight end that's going tonight. It wouldn't make sense. None of these other tight ends really had a first-round grade on them. So the Bengals this year have brought in Sheldon Rankins, Geno Stone at safety, Von Bell at safety, Zach Moss at running back, Trent Brown at offensive tackle, and Mike Gesicki at tight end. So, and they lost DJ Reader, so that's something interesting to watch. So maybe they do go D-line here. They lost DJ Reader, their best defensive lineman, went to Detroit to play D tackle. Detroit signed him to a 2 or 3 year deal. I want to say a 2-year deal. And DJ Reader, like I said, their best defensive lineman. So maybe they try to replace that talent right now. Maybe they try to address that. Some of the D tackles left on the board. Newton from Illinois. That's a potential guy that could go. Another guy, Dallas Turner was taken. All right, so Jared Verse. Jared Verse is still on the board. Edge. I don't know that they needed edge as bad. They do need edge. So maybe Jared Verse goes here. Jared Verse is another guy people talked about in the top 15. He was the stalwart. He was the catalyst to that Florida State defense that looked like they gave up no points each week. So would not shock me if we see Jared Verse go here. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, now you're kind of stretching. You're really stretching here. I'm going to say this. I think it's one of three guys. And I've been wrong before, so I'll probably be wrong again. It's either Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Jackson. Okay, actually, no. I'm going to take that back. It's either Troy Fatanu from Washington, Jackson Powers Johnson, or Jared Verse. Those are the three guys, to me, that make the most sense. Either draft a guy that's going to go after some of these quarterbacks that are in your vision, specifically Lamar Jackson, or go after someone that's going to protect your assets, protect your number one guy in Joe Burrow, and draft an interior offensive lineman. And, the Bengals are a team that do not value, from a monetary standpoint, they typically don't value the interior, the offensive line. They don't like paying interior offensive linemen. They're not a team that extends their guards, extends their centers. So they are a team that kind of recycles those guys. So it really wouldn't shock me if they want to save some money and go after a guy that should be, a staple in the offense for the next 4 to 5 seasons, right? You have that 5th-year option on a first-round pick. So it would not shock me to see them take someone to play the interior offensive line. Bengals. And the commissioner's coming to the stage. Do we have any beer left? Let's see. A little bit left. All right. What do you got for us, Commish? There we go. So I took it back, but I was a fool. Amarius Mims, offensive tackle, Georgia, 6 foot. He's a big boy, 6'7", 340 pounds. I love the way he moves. Definitely does not move like he's 340. So he's 340 on paper, does not look like that. The guy moves just like Fuaga moves like he's 315, 320. Very, very, very strong upper body. So here's something I noticed. It was kind of hard to find Amarius Mims film from this year, and I couldn't figure out why. And I figured out why, because he was hurt. So the downside of Mims, played 7 games this year and did not play in all, like, did not play the full 60 minutes of those 7 games. I want to say there was a crazy statistic. Like in the past 2 years, he had only played like 12 games. Well, there's 12 games typically in a regular season of college, or 13 games, or whatever, a regular season of college football. So, essentially missed half the past 2 years. That's not a good sign. We said it before. I'll say it again. Your best ability is availability. So from that standpoint, not good. But here's what I really can say about him. In the games that what I did watch was I watched like the Kentucky game. Some of these games that he came in, he started and had to come out. There was one game, might have been Mississippi State or Kentucky, whatever it was. He started the game, got hurt, and came back in the fourth. And the difference you see in that Georgia offense, specifically the right side of that line, when Mims was in and came out and came back in, the difference in that line play is night and day. I mean, when he's in the game, there is no penetration. He is mauling people, bulldozing through people, putting them in the ground, putting them in the dirt. When he's not on the field, when he's out, when he was in that tent, I mean, it was leaking like a sieve from the right side. They were getting all their penetration. You saw the other team's best pass rushers moving from the left now over to the right and just dominating and taking advantage of those weaknesses. So I think this is a great pick. My only concern, like I said, is his health. I really hope the guy could stay upright. I hope he could stay healthy. My buddy Chris here chiming in, Malik Neighbors. Chris is a Giants fan. He's excited. Chris, I think that was a great pick. I would have went. I know you probably didn't see. I think you guys have your own show going right now. I would have went tackle. I would have went quarterback. I did not love that, but I love Malik Neighbors. I would have done something different if I was the Giants there. I would have addressed quarterback. I would have addressed offensive line. You got to protect him. If Daniel Jones is your starter, which I guess he is, you got to protect him. And there was an inability to do that last year, and that's why you had 3 injured quarterbacks, one after the other. But in terms of talent and Malik Neighbors is that guy. He's a guy a lot of people loved as their favorite wide receiver in the draft. Facino is on the way. But that doesn't help us. Bengals take Mims. So, once again, great pick by the Bengals here. My only concern is his health. If he could stay out of the medical tent, if he could stay away from that medical staff, he'll be just fine. He's another guy that could be, a great left tackle in this league or right tackle in this league for years to come. He's an elite level prospect, difference maker. That's about it. There was not a lot of film to watch for him this year. Rams pick is in. They're showing Aaron Donald on the screen, who obviously just retired from football. Rams are another team. Don't know what they're going to do. Their needs are definitely at D tackle. They're on the edge. They're at corner. Offensive tackle. There's still some good offensive tackles left. I don't think they're going to address the interior of their line. They just signed Jonah Jackson. I forgot who their center is. It might be, I think it's Evan. No, it's not Evan Brown. I don't know who it is. But I doubt they're going to address the interior. If they're going to do anything, they're going to address the exterior. And I don't know what they're going to do. They could go corner. I mean, they could. The Rams here could come away at 19 with the best corner. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy that we haven't had a corner taken yet. And there are a lot of great corners in this draft. So very interesting to see what happens here. I think they're going corner. I think they're going corner. It just makes the most sense. It makes the most sense if you're the Rams here. You need help. You lost some of these games in the air. A lot of teams threw for quite a bit of yards against the Rams this year. It's a high-powered offense. I mean, any team coached by Sean McVay is going to have a high-powered offense. But we got Pat in here. Sorry, Pat. I just saw you now.
Beautiful spot. They didn't think.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, pal?
Nothing much, man. Kids
How we
asleep,
feeling?
wife's in bed, feeling good, man. Like we should get a good pick with this run, man. It's gonna be really cool to see like who falls to us at 29.
Hey.
I think I'll just listening to you. I love it because you said
Pat, I gotta let Facino in. Take
Oh,
over
dude.
from here. Talk the Rams up.
yeah. All right, here we go. I think Matt was saying he's into the corner position. I'm more, I think, in tune with the Rams. They're probably going to take something to supplement the loss of Aaron Donald. I got to imagine they're going at the D tackle and or DM position. We'll see who's correct. Fucking know it. I like that kid. And to be honest, I thought he might have been in play for the Lions at 29. I didn't know if he'd go this earlier or not, but I really like him as a player. Felt more inevitable to me because you really do need to get. You can't have a loss like Aaron Donald and expect to kind of hit the ground running unless you're getting something to build more pressure around there. So this was smart move by them, and I know they had the interior guy that actually played his balls off this season. I can't remember his name. Hold on a second. I can't remember. They had a rookie this past year that had an incredible season at the deep tackle position. So I think a guy like that, under tutelage of a Aaron Donald for a year, is definitely going to pay dividends. Let's see. What was his name? It's slipping me right now. Let's see. Looks like it was Kobe Turner. That's right.
All right, so they traded.
Yeah, so I think that's what I'm looking at here. I think with the emergence of Kobe Turner, him learning other and next to Aaron Donald for a year, I think getting someone that's outside edge is just going to help him out. So this makes most sense. But right before you got off there, I was like, I think they're going like either D-tack or end or edge because you got to supplement the loss of Aaron Donald like 1,000%. So that was kind of where I was at with it. And
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm big on. Is the Alabama corner still? But not Kool-Aid, the other guy.
Kool-Aid is available.
What about the other
kid? The other kid.
Yeah.
The number one
And
kid.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try to trade up for him right now. Like
Cooper DeJean is available. Kenyon Mitchell is available out of Toledo.
He's still available?
Terrion Arnold. Yeah. Who did the Rams
Toledo
just take?
kid?
Who
The
did the
Toledo
Rams
kid's
just take?
still available?
Yes.
Oh, they
Toledo
took
kid's
the edge from Florida State.
Jared Verse.
Yeah. Dude, if Toledo kids, you might see a trade up from the Lions. There's a chance.
We got Paul.
Hey.
Hey.
The boys are back. The boys are back in town. This has been
I'm about to add one more too. I got
probably
Facino in my basement.
I'll tell you this, like I've even like looking up a lot of shit, like working up this draft. Everything I looked at and thought was fucking thrown out the window in the first fucking like 8 picks.
Is Penix?
It says device not connected.
Penix, I thought Chargers would take JC. I kind of had those two backwards.
JC.
The other tackle.
Oh.
I had them flipped around where they went. I still think the fucking out of my goddamn mind with like Arizona or Atlanta's doing right now. That's just I still can't make sense of it.
I actually loved it. I think Michael Penix was amazing.
I think
and it is what it is.
To me, it doesn't matter what anyone values Penix to be. Is like you can't justify $100 million guaranteed because how does guaranteed money work in the NFL? It's your dead money if you trade him in a year or two. Like I get it if free agency happened first, then combine happened. You're like, oh my God, Penix is great. But you had every opportunity to look at Penix before you gave that contract. And you know what? Knowing when you're picking, you knew you could get him. No one's going to trade him. So why give that contract?
Turn my fucking TV down.
Well, it's you know what it is. I think maybe the
Yeah.
Falcons think they have the team. So if they think they have the team, then if the quarterback gets hurt, at least they have a guy that they're comfortable with coming in afterwards. It's interesting. It's a crazy pick, but it's a quarterback.
And I was saying the foul too. It's like because I think people are harping so much on age now. Like these guys are playing till 37. If this guy doesn't start till he's fucking 26, 27, and then plays till he's 36 and gives you 10 good years, it's a fucking great investment. No matter how you twist it. Like so, it's just the Jordan Love dynamic changed fucking everything. I know he was much younger when he finally got that took the reins, but I think that dynamic is gonna start coming back. People are like, we don't need to start these guys right away. Like if we're smart about it, we can have the succession plan in place. Like everyone hopes they do. Like Patriots almost had a decent one with Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's always been like the case. Like the case has been like debating forever. Do you play a guy, sit a guy? Like, I mean, I don't know. It just to me, it's like
yeah, you're not wrong. I think it's the juggling act. It's like when you're right, it's great. When you're wrong, you're not.
I don't hate that you say whatever you think of Penix. It just you can't justify giving Cousins the deal and then drafting Penix.
Unless they just thought he was unless they were so convinced he was gonna go like higher than that, and they just didn't think he was gonna be there, which is no one else. It was everyone was surprised. Every fucking host was like, "What the fuck?" I think was it Ian Rappaport came on. He's like, "Apparently, Penix is really in play right here," and everyone was shocked. So I don't think it was something that anyone had.
Not
top
to
of
not to the Falcons.
No.
That's the thing.
I had him at 13 to the Raiders actually.
Yeah, you maybe expect the Raiders to go to 8 to go get him. Which would that would have made sense.
I had Raiders getting him, if not, and then if he dropped, I had someone just popping back into the first round to get him with the 5th year. Like if he dropped in the draft, I'm flabbergasted. I just don't. The Cousins thing, I just can't get over. Me
and you talked about this, Pat. Like I get Cousins tore his Achilles. I get he might not be ready to start the season. Okay, so now you got Penix, and you believe, like you said, that possibly they could go and compete for. Then they can compete for a Super Bowl. I think when I said as soon as they signed Cousins, that I think they could be an 11, 12-1 team. But here's my question: what if you start off 5-1? You can't hand the job off to Cousins.
No.
Now you got $100 million, and how does guaranteed money work in the NFL?
Yeah,
it goes on Atlanta's cap. They cut him a check, I believe, for $70 or $80 million. I think they cut him a check when they signed him. And let's not forget this: you also tampered. There's rumors they're going to lose a first-round pick.
That's why they did it.
Or second-round pick for Cousins. But why would you? But
if they're going to lose a first-round pick next year. And that was when
it doesn't work
but
out.
You signed a 4-year contract.
It's if he but I think what they're saying if he didn't work out.
Here's the Steelers selection, by the way. It's got to be Quinyon, right? Or Graham Barton.
His highest honor, the Walter
Graham Barton, I think Graham Barton's my highest player.
The center.
I'll tell you who I had at this pick. Hold on, it's probably gonna get picked before I say it, but
I don't even want to look at what I had.
I think they still had a couple of years to draft.
I actually had Graham Barton at this pick, so you're spot on. I had him as a Steelers, got it right here. So if that's the pick, I hope it is.
Here it is. It's just he won't say it.
Everyone's picking so quick. They're trying to draw this out a little bit. They need more commercials.
He still won't say it.
Hey, pal, man, we need you to kill 2 minutes up there.
What was he saying? I'm on mute. I can't hear what he's saying.
Are they announcing the man of the year? Or he is the man of the year. Excuse me.
There you go.
Troy Fatanu.
All right. Troy Fatanu.
Okay.
Beautiful. Let's go.
God, I
Troy Fatanu. Oh.
I just been so close. He was in my this mock. There's a betting pool we do. Whoever gets the most points. You pretty much do the rankings, a 1 through 32 point system on how confident you are in each of those picks, and then the winner takes all. I had this guy going the pick before this.
So I was talking about him before. Is there an echo here, or is it just my headphones? Do you guys hear an echo?
I hear it, but it's from you. It's on your end. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Me and Facino are in the same room. So a lot of NFL scouts think he's going to transition to guard. He's 6'4", he's 317 pounds. He's definitely at guard size. He's got a guard frame. He gets overpowered at times. That's my one concern with him. I watched him get overpowered a little bit. But outside of that, he's quick, he's physical, similar to Talise Fuaga. I mean, the guy plays violent. The guy looks for blood. So I definitely like to see that. Ultimately, I had him as a mid to late first round pick, and I'd like to see him move over to interior. So that's where he went. That makes the most sense. I like this. I got no problem with this.
They need it too. I think they do need to get in there with like they got to make it easy for either Russell Wilson or Fields. They got to make them comfortable.
Oh, so he went to Pittsburgh.
Oh.
So now Miami's up and Worthy's on the board. So we'll see what they do here.
Miami is always one I thought would be a potential trade back for the Lions because they don't have a lot of picks. I think they'd be willing to pick up anything right now. There's some good fucking players on the board, but there's still a heap of picks between us and fucking and right now. Tell you, a whole new experience as a Lions fan, waiting this long to see a fucking pick.
Here we go. Picks already in.
Also, I think if you guys go into settings and you go into the audio, there's a thing you can click on for stereo audio echo cancellation. Wondering if that'll help you guys both use the mics. If you guys both flip it on, maybe that'll help like offset it. So, oh, she's so high.
There might still be a bit of an. Oh, not really. Facino, try to say something here. See if we get an echo.
Well, I don't hear him. Are you speaking to the mic though? Try the
My
micro. Here, both of you try.
Sitting down next to me.
Ah, bada bing. There you go.
That's
Good.
Better.
Fantastic.
I'm getting a beer.
That actually was amazing. I can't believe the Jaguars they refuse to pick. Every year they trade back. It's unbelievable. The Jets.
They got a lot.
my
They got a lot for
God.
that pick from Minnesota, though.
Dude, the Jets are fucking morons. Like Joe Douglas, dude. He was having a good few months.
Why didn't you like that? Why didn't you like?
Because Brock Bowers was on the board. He was the best player in the draft.
Yeah, but you got to protect. You got to protect your quarterback.
But we signed Tyron Smith, John Simpson,
And how many games is Tyron Smith going
and
to play?
Jordan and Morgan Moses. I don't know. Look, I mean, it is what
Hey,
it
Matt,
is.
can
They
you
made
hear
the
me?
pick already.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear you, Paul.
Oh, okay.
I just
mean,
feel like it was a disaster.
you gotta give Rodgers, and he has time. He's a really good quarterback. Doesn't matter if he's crazy as fuck, but he's a good
I mean,
quarterback.
how many
when he has
games? How many
time.
games did Tyron Smith play last year? He didn't play much,
I think he played in like
but wasn't he injured? Like most of the year, he played injured.
yeah.
He's 33 years old. He's old.
He's been injured. He's been
Yeah.
injured. I mean, his whole career he's been injured. He's been a great left tackle. He's just always been hurt. It makes sense. Start over, reset the clock. I think Fashanu, I had it in my notes, and I mean, after watching film, I think Fashanu's the most pro-ready tackle, and I think he's more pro-ready than Joe Alt. I think he was more polished, and I think he was more pro-ready. I saw him manhandle guys more than I saw Joe Alt. I mean, Joe Alt is like a solid. I think he's going to be a solid left tackle in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be the best at any point in his career.
So you're challenging Jim, Big Jim, in LA.
No, I think it was a safe pick, but I would have went with Fashanu if I was Jim or Fuaga. Honestly, I think Fuaga is going to be the best. I love Fuaga.
I gotta look up a big board.
These K Jeweler commercials got to be the weirdest fucking. Weirdest
Every
commercials.
kiss begins with K.
Casino, you want me to throw TV2 on for you?
By any chance, did you guys catch like the picture of the Rams like draft party on the beach? It looked like there was like
Yes.
80 fans. And, like they try to like really zoom.
It's the same 80 that came to their Super Bowl parade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it feels like such a it's such like a player grab, right? It's like it's not like a fan thing for LA. It's like a player wants to play here, but like from a fan's perspective, it's like you left all your fans in fucking St. Louis. Like,
Did you
I-
see did you see the house that Stafford just bought? His new
I
house?
have not.
Oh,
No.
it's like- I think it's like I might be wrong, but I want to say it's like $120 million or something.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, he bought one of the most expensive houses.
I saw. I just sold one. I guess that's because he.
Yeah,
I
and
guess
he bought
that,
it.
yeah.
Like the house, like it's
Not a single corner is gone yet.
Dude,
Pick
Terry
Not one, they're all
Arnold.
out.
Like, I want the Lions just to trade up just to fucking secure Terry and Arnold right now. Like,
well, that's what they said.
I
they were
would
interested in
actually.
doing, but
This is so interesting because Philly needs a receiver.
Philly doesn't
They
need a
take
receiver.
Brian Thomas, but the Jaguars need a
Wait,
receiver.
Philly needs a receiver? They got Devontae and AJ Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry. Philly needs a corner.
corner. Yeah, corner. They need corner
I'm
bad.
sorry.
Yeah.
Philly needs a corner, and they can get the best corner on the board. It's gonna be Quinyon. The
Speaking of Philly-
Jaguars. What are the Jaguars gonna do? Because every receiver's available outside of the
Terry
top
and
three.
Arnold has Detroit
Speaking of-
written all over him. He had a
Speaking of
story
Philly-
about his like fucking like his school janitor when he was a kid.
We
Like
didn't-
that's what he talked about in his interview. I was
We
like,
didn't
that's
address
the
it
Dan Campbell
before.
guy.
I told you we're either drafting Kool-Aid or Chop Robinson.
Nah,
We didn't-
Terry.
They
we
have
didn't
it on the
address it
board. They
before,
had
but
it
AJ
prepped.
Brown signed a
Robinson,
3-year
6
extension.
career sacks.
I
Chop
did see
Robinson,
that.
top
Yeah.
20. Insane.
St. Brown was the highest paid for a whole 24 hours.
Oh, Chop Robinson. Wow, there he is. Wow. Wait a second. Who AJ Brown signed a new contract?
Yeah, he's the highest paid now.
3 years, $96 million, I think.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got on Chop Robinson?
His get off's insane. His win rate's good. He just hasn't gotten home. Like everything. That's pretty much him in a nutshell. He has like all the sky high potential if he develops, but yeah, again, there you go. Raw. His production wasn't limited. He was like win rate. If you look, it's crazy because if you look at his win rate, it was really high, but he didn't have a lot of sacks, which like you think would equate to the other.
Mhm.
But it's just like I think it's just technique. Like he'd get the win, but he wouldn't get to the quarterback. So I mean, he's what you want in a speed edge, in like a fucking athletic edge rusher, like everything you want.
Well, Dolphins had a major issue last year with slowing teams down. They gave up a lot of points. So
Yeah, but-
this only helps.
Yeah,
them.
that's because they try to score on one play each time.
He had
Yeah.
5. I don't know, man.
Also true.
Casino, you're very nervous over there. What's going on?
I'm just thinking back to like how I was feeling when I was not here. Like you have no
Better?
like, so Brock Bowers was the perfect player for the Jets. And they just didn't do it. And they traded back and it was like, wow, they could get another tackle if they want, to just get 2 developmental tackles to play 1 or 2 games this year.
Yeah, but you can't tell me that the pick didn't make sense for
Dude,
the
they
Jets.
drafted a backup last year at 15, and then they drafted a fucking backup at 11. How could you take 2 backups back to back? You have to
Rashawn,
get
who's
production.
a backup? How is he a backup?
Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses are the tackles for the Jets. They were top 10 in PFF last year. Top 10 tackles. 2 tackles. So where's the guy going to play? Guard? Well, AVT should be playing guard because he's a Pro Bowl guard when he's healthy. And they just traded for John Simpson, who you're allowed to have a weak link on the line. I don't think Vashanu is just gonna go play guard in the NFL next year. I think maybe you could have got that with Fawanga. Go put him at right tackle where you have Morgan Moses, not as good as Tyron Smith. So maybe, if something happens there, you could put Fawanga out there. But they took the left tackle. Like, if Tyron Smith gets hurt, whatever. You can go, you go try to make a trade for somebody. You're obviously in win now mode. You're desperate to win the next few years. If that doesn't happen, maybe you sign Bakhtiari and hope that you can get some games out of him. I don't think that left tackle I can't even imagine Fashanu even having a year. Like, where is
you're-
the value? When
You're
can
you're still Super Bowl or bust on
Yeah.
the Jets.
How could you not though? How could you not be? Because
Yeah, you kind of have to with the Rodgers
you
contract.
just it's
So who's
really
your
a
right
horrible
tackle?
pick. Morgan Moses. He was the 10th graded tackle on PFF last
Yeah,
year.
but you
so-
gotta remember. So you gotta look
Can
like
he
this.
can
like,
he get 10th rated tackle like overall?
10th graded tackle
Overall?
on PFF. Yeah.
He's probably going to be your backup. It's probably going to be
Yeah, he'll
Fashanu.
probably
so
go-
I,
He'll probably go back
Fashanu
up
is
or
is
inside.
not going to beat out Morgan Moses, man. That's the. I can't.
yeah, but I'd probably subscribe to what Matt's saying. So like, think of it like this: Super Bowl or bust and taking a tight end, and then you don't have the Super Bowl, then you don't have Rodgers. Now you don't have now you don't have a quarterback to throw that fucking awesome tight end, and maybe you got the 23rd pick, and now you can't even. Now you have to give away the fucking farm to trade up. You get the tackle, so if you have to bring a developmental quarterback in, at least you have a fucking sturdy line in front of him for him to be comfortable.
Yeah, I
Worst
understand.
case scenario. Worst case scenario. Fashanu slides into guard for a year and helps you out there. Like your main priority is keeping Aaron Rodgers upright and healthy. Worst case scenario, Fashanu slides in. Best case, he probably beats out that guy at right tackle. I'll bet you he does. And you know what? The other best case, which is also a worst case, is Tyron Smith will go down. That's going to happen. So you're probably going to either have Fashanu play left tackle or move your right over to left and let Fashanu play right. I'm
But in
telling
a
you,
in a-
Fashanu is going to come in and play all 17 games. If he's healthy, we'll play all 17 games for you guys in one way or another. Brock Bowers could be the best tight end of all time. If you can't give Rodgers time, Brock Bowers means nothing.
Is Sam Laporta a top 5 tight end?
Yes, but Penei
Is Mark
Sewell,
Andrews-
Penei
is Mark
Sewell,
Andrews-
Sewell means more to the Lions than Laporta does.
But is Mark Andrews a top 10 tight end? Top 5 tight end?
Yeah,
Is Travis Kelce a top 5 tight end?
I don't know anymore if he
Well,
still
is George Kittle a top 5 tight end?
Yeah,
Because all 4 of those guys
but what
were
do
in the
all four of those
championship
guys
game.
have? But what do all four of
And
those
guess
They
guys
were
have?
not
all
one
in
of
the
those- and not
championship game
One of
last
those
year.
guys were drafted in the 10th overall spot.
But in a redraft, they all would go top 10. It's just that they weren't. Just because they weren't picked there doesn't mean that if a team
Well,
would
like,
go
I'm not
back and
trying,
rewrite history, they
I'm
wouldn't
not
pick
trying
them
to
there.
like jump in here, but I'm just like reading a recent article by PFF, and I know what you're saying. What's his name? Your right tackle graded out to be, but like they're ranking like I'm all the way up to like their top 40 tackles, and I still don't see your right tackle anywhere listed. What's his name?
Huh?
Morgan what?
Morgan Moses.
The right tackle. Morgan Moses.
Yeah, he was a 10th graded tackle at PFF last year.
For the Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
so
a-
okay, that's it. All right, so he's signed, yeah. Well, if they signed him, he's gonna be starting. Like, if
Morgan
they signed him
Moses
away
had
from
it.
Baltimore-
He was number the 10th. So
10th,
the
yeah.
line Sewell was number 1, then Williams,
yeah.
and then Mailata, Tyron Smith, who was 4th. So we have the 4th and the 10th guy, and the Lions have 1 and 9.
I think when Tyron Smith goes
Oh, we
down
got
in
one.
week 2 with back spasms, you're going to be very thankful that
Damn,
you have
the
Ola
Eagles,
Fashanu.
Eagles wasted
Yeah.
no fucking time.
but I just.
Wait, who
I-
did my
I-
oh,
I
I think this is where he sees the John Cooper. Is this that Cooper kid? I think.
No,
Maybe
I think
they need a
I think
guy.
they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go Quincy, or they're gonna go what's his name, Arnold from
They
Alabama.
have to take a fucking corner.
It's gonna be a DB, yeah.
I mean, let's not forget they suck at drafting, so who knows who it's gonna be. So
Yeah.
I think that Cooper kid is pretty. He's pretty versatile from what I understand. So I think they might
I think it's too high for Cooper.
subscribe to that.
I think Cooper's gonna fall to the second round. Dude, they have like a sales pitch on every single draft pick now.
It's off every time.
he's talking about Goodell.
Oh no, not you guys. I'm sorry. Fucking say who you're gonna pick.
The NFL's International Player Pathway Program helps foreign war players.
Hey, listen, let's take a moment here while Goodell fucking has his fat mouth open. I'll open my fat mouth and thank everybody for staying with us tonight. 35 viewers. The number keeps going up. We have not ever had this in the Sunny Days Media Show. I appreciate you guys so much hanging with us, texting me, sending me screenshots. It means a lot. This is probably Draco, my dog.
And
This is
Goodell's
probably our
still
biggest-
talking.
This is probably
Still
our
going.
biggest event of the year, and it's it grew from a Twitter space to now a show.
Dude, they just panned out to a beach in South America. I don't even know if this pick's in English.
Thank you, Uncle Roger. Good evening to you from the beautiful
Quinyon
land.
Mitchell.
No, they're in
What
Australia.
a good pick. That's like the best pick all night in South America.
Philadelphia Eagles tonight.
Great pick.
Quinyon Mitchell, defensive line for the leader.
All right, Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo.
Shocked. He's.
90 overall next gen grade, which
I mean, he was like. From what I understand, he was like the highest graded CB by a fucking mile.
Oh. Now he had a 90 next gen score, and almost every guy that's over a 90 next gen should be picked in the top 15. It's very interesting that he fell this deep, but here
Well,
we
the
go.
first-
Jags
the
are on
first
the board.
fucking
Brian Thomas is available.
First 13, 14 picks were all offense.
Yep.
Now we're seeing.
I'll
a run
tell you
on
this
defense here.
right now. Don't be surprised if. Dude, Lions could take a receiver, and I wouldn't even fucking second
They
guess
should.
it.
I already said it. My positions that I'd love to see them is go O line, D line, DB, and then a receiver. That the only thing that Dolphins is missing is a big bodied receiver. That's it.
You don't want to see them draft a corner here?
I said I'd like to see O line, D line, DB, or a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Jags
telling
don't
you,
even
it's-
want to pick.
Yeah, I mean.
But if you told me they went and got like what's his name,
If they got Powers Johnson out of Oregon, I'd also.
That's
be
my
thrilled
guy
with
right
that.
now. He is my
Yeah.
fucking guy right now. I want him.
I don't
all
know that
fucking
he's
day
going to
long.
drop to us though.
I mean, we're
Now
getting
we're
close,
getting
man. But he
We're
has
getting
Green
deep.
Bay written all
Dallas.
over his ass,
Well,
man.
Dallas
Yeah,
is that
right.
O lineman too.
Pat,
Dallas-
100%,
Oh,
100%.
it's a Green Bay fucking stealing it right from underneath us. Like I can see it already. And
Well, we could
Buffalo's
do what we did to them last year, and we just fucking swap
trade up
picks.
ahead. Yeah,
Well,
that's
listen,
true.
until like if they drafted him, he's not starting probably this year.
Who, Powers Johnson?
Yeah.
Hey,
He's
well.
absolutely beating
Yeah.
out Graham Glasgow, 100%. They'll move him to guard, but
no, Grant. Oh, in that case, he may not.
100%.
What do you
I
mean
think they'll be
100%?
I think they'll be-
I think
They would
100%
be
he's beating out Graham
perfectly.
Glasgow.
Jaguars pick is in.
Everyone be ready. Who they make draft here might not fucking play to start the season.
I mean, if they take a corner, 100% the guy's going to start. Who's going to
yeah. I mean, they
threaten him?
probably
Carlton
start.
Davis,
yeah,
Amik
yeah.
Robinson?
Carlton Davis is gonna be good. I think a lot of people are over fucking.
Yeah, but
I think people are looking too much of not realizing he's great in man. He played a ton of zone at fucking Tampa.
What are the Jags
Well,
gonna do?
the last year.
It's,
mean,
I think. What do you? Did you guys make big boards or no? Because I wound up just making a big board, and
I just had my. I had my like.
where's
my
your big
draft
board?
Of like panned out of like.
Oh, you
what
have
it
it on your
looked
thing?
like.
my best available player right now is Graham Barton
From
Fucking hate the Eagles.
from Duke, and then Jackson Powers Johnson, and then we have Brian Thomas and Worthy. I think that
Oh,
any of those picks.
is that the tackle? Is that the tackle? Yeah, Graham Barton's the offensive tackle. Okay.
He actually may grade out better as a center, and he's probably going to play center in the NFL.
Well, that's the beauty of JPJ. Is like he can slide it because like look at like this like. He's probably he's going to be better than Graham, and we only have the other guy for Zeitler for a year. So if fucking Frank is really has that bad of an injury and not going to be playing more than a couple more years, like this guy can smooth in the center and Frank's spot, play guard next to him the year after, like this. Like it gives you a lot of flexibility. And if we're re-signing like Jared Goff, I want this fucking line as stout as possible
Yeah,
for the entirety of his fucking stay.
I'm right there with you.
So like it's like if you want this to be a long-term fucking like
No.
window, then you gotta make sure Jared Goff's up right. Because if he's not, it's gonna be a fucking miserable contract.
I mean, like I agree that. Listen, I think they're always going to keep their line strong, but this is going to be our like only chance to grab a
No,
center offensive. Yeah,
no, definitely
like
not. No, listen,
I mean,
I'm
there's
not, I'm not.
if
I'm
they
not-
believe that the guy is a starter, draft him. If you're drafting for the future, like you're going to have another opportunity there.
Paul, I'm
Yeah,
not
sure,
saying
remember.
that this is their one and only chance. I'm just saying if Jackson Powers Johnson is still there, if they stand pat at 29 and Powers Johnson's still there, I gotta imagine they're probably gonna take. Or put it this way: if they take him, I think the anticipation is you're letting him compete with Graham Glasgow to get that starting spot.
I mean, that's the only position that he's going to be able to win.
right.
I
Like
think
he's
people
not going to
forget.
beat Zeta, and he's not going to beat out Ragnow.
No,
And like,
even
let's
know
not forget who's the
I don't even know
first
what I want.
person reported ready to practice in Allen Parks.
Frank Ragnow.
Frank Ragnow. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, you're still going to need a guy to play guard. So
yeah, my point is that I listen. I'm the first one that said I want an O lineman. I don't mind an O lineman, but I don't want to act like if Powers is there. We have no idea who the line's like. Brad Holmes has showed it right last year. You got no idea which way he's going to go the draft.
And that's kind of the
So-
point, though. It's like, and I think we're at if you watched everything that happened free agency points to me of like they are perfectly happy drafting a guy for the future and not for now.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Powers is on the board and they draft a different center guard.
boys, let's move this
Oh,
over to
there's,
Jacksonville. The
Just
pick is
do
in.
not want
Wait,
Darren
who's the
Arnold.
J? Who's the
You're
J?
going-
Don't you have a-
There's
don't you have
another
a
guard,
buddy-
Lewis.
walking like
Something
a
like that.
fucking
That's
really
turtle
good.
up to the podium.
Don't you have a buddy who's a Jaguars fan?
Yeah, Facino, he's right here. He's
Oh,
in
you're the
he's-
Jaguars fan.
Anthony's the Jaguars fan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Jets. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Brian
let's-
Thomas, yes!
There you
Yes!
go.
Let's fucking go! The Jacksonville Jaguars select Brian Thomas Jr. Thank God. What a good
Oh, Facino, get on the
That's
mic. Tell
a
us about it.
fucking huge pick.
Headphones. Tell us all about it, Facino.
Brian Thomas is so good he gets 2 feet.
Where
in.
was he on your
He's
board?
so bored out there that he just gets 2 feet in every time. He was 13th on my board. Watch. I mean, you're gonna show you right now. I mean, the guy just beats everybody. You can't press him. He's just so fast off the line of scrimmage. He just mosses guys 2 feet, catches everything for the most part. He can high point the ball at 17 touchdowns last year. I mean, you just watch these releases. I cannot believe they got him. You know, Trevor Lawrence, just like his one kryptonite is that he just misses high. He'll miss like 5 inches too high. And Calvin Ridley was not tall enough, and he couldn't jump high enough to help Trevor Lawrence with his one issue that he has. And last year they dropped like 10 touchdowns in the end zone between him, Zay Jones, and it was him, Zay Jones. There was another whoever else was dropping balls in the end zone, and it's just like it can't happen. So essentially, this player could get Trevor Lawrence. Like this is what he needed. People think Trevor Lawrence is a bust out. There's people that think that. This
I
is
do
going
not.
to.
I'm a big fan
this
of
is-
Trevor Lawrence.
This is going to validate. Like
Well, quarterback
I
missed
I
that
ran
high.
4.33.
I'm a
There's
big
one-
fan
there's
of him because I think people don't give quarterbacks enough time quite often. And he came into a
There's
shit
one-
show with fucking the first coach, whatever the fuck his name was. Fuck was the coach from Ohio State they had in first year? Fuck's his name?
Ohio State. Oh,
The coach that was a Jaguars coach the first year. No,
I know you're. Yeah.
Doug Peterson. Now
Doug-
it was a dumpster fire with that fucking guy.
Urban Meyer. Urban
Urban
Meyer.
Meyer,
Hand up the
dumpster
ass.
fire.
Yeah.
So the guy literally got like he was like fucking a year behind the curve of any rookie because he's had the shittiest fucking situation. That was like Matt Patricia level shitty. Like even worse. He lasted
I
a
think it was
fucking year.
worse. It was
Oh yeah,
worse.
it definitely was. I think he was.
I mean, I did watch Trevor Lawrence throw the season away against the Colts last week of the season.
You could say that probably about any quarterback at some point in their career.
I mean, listen, there's one thing missing guys high in the end zone because it's so tight. There's another thing when you're missing guys high over the middle, like guy in the middle of the field. You know, that's
He
two
was-
different problems. And I'm not sure what Trevor Lawrence where he misses his guy, but
Yeah,
he
he misses over the middle of the field. You can't be throwing a Christian Kirk. You need to throw to guys like Jefferson and
but you got to be
Brian
able to
Thomas and
locate
get
it
up.
over when you're throwing in the back of the end zone. You got to put it up high, but like over the middle, you know,
So
like the last quarterback that fell apart in his NFL career got ruined because he missed high over the middle is Carson Wentz.
And
miss
you know
over the-
what? You have to mitigate that. You can't roll out Carson Wentz with 5'10" guys. You got to say, all right, this is an issue that he might have. Trevor Lawrence is hitting guys in the hands, which is even worse because if you can't catch the ball, it hits you in the hands, it's getting tipped and it might get
No,
picked.
I like Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
What's interesting though about this pick here? So you're happy with Brian Thomas, and that's good. They had that original what was it? They were supposed to pick 17th. The Vikings move in and they took Turner. I thought Turner would have actually been a really good fit for you guys, given
I
how
feel
shitty the
Jacksonville
defense
has
was.
done that shit all the time. The fast edge guys,
Well, no, I mean they did it with Josh Allen, and Josh Allen has turned out to be really good for them. He just got a second contract, but
Yeah, he's got a
I
big
had
fire,
seen
too.
I had seen Turner come off the board, and I thought for some reason that Turner had went to Jacksonville, and I was like waxing poetically about how great of a pick that would have been. Put a guy outside on the other side of Josh Allen, similar to what Lions fans are looking for, putting someone on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. I was like, wow, this is great. They're going to have a two-headed monster on defense, and then they trade the pick. Listen, this is good. I'm not down on this. I think I would have liked to have seen them take that edge right there. I think that would have been more beneficial.
Dude,
This
there
is
you guys-
player
you
I
guys-
wanted
you guys-
this guy since Christmas.
Jacksonville,
And they
Santa
traded back
delivered.
and got him.
Jacksonville every week gets a lead in a game. They put up a bunch of points, and then they fucking piss it away in the second half. If you could have another guy on the other side of Allen, I thought that would have been awesome.
Yeah. Well, we have Trayvon Walker, but he has to play inside. They do need another pass rusher.
You could have had
They do.
Hutchinson.
Yep. Could
I'm
have.
not saying anything here.
Look, at the end of the day, Trayvon Walker is still a great player. So I don't think that there's as much, it is what it is. I think he has like 16 sacks in his first 2 years. So he'll figure it out. With Josh Allen, I just still think you need another guy because you want these guys fresh in the fourth quarter, especially if you're going to be up. You want these guys coming in drunk.
You need guys that
it's
can
fresh.
finish.
It's just like not having to get double teamed on every fucking play. That's Hutchinson's problem. It's like he doesn't have anyone on the other side.
Yeah.
Like now we have Reader in the middle. Get another guy on the edge on the
Yeah.
other side. You get some one-on-ones for your best player. It's gonna help a fucking ton.
What do you think about Jerzon Newton?
I love John. I don't know why they call him Johnny. I still don't know that, but like I do like him a lot. If he's dude, this board there's not, in my opinion. I mean, we got to see who gets picked in the next like 5 picks. I assume it's going to be 2 O-line in the next 2 picks, 2 cornerbacks, receiver.
Dallas
and that's
has
gonna be
Dallas
Detroit.
has to go O-lineman. I could see Dallas going with Powers
Yeah,
here.
I think it's going to be OL, CB,
Those are the
CB, wide receiver, and then Detroit picks. That's my guess right now, just based off what the board looks like.
Did
And the teams that are up.
Green Bay trade what's his name? The
They
corner?
traded the pick. The Lions are up.
No,
Did
they
they
didn't.
really?
Shit. Holy shit!
Let's go.
Holy shit! Let's go. Lines are on the clock.
Lions said,
No, they're
fuck
not.
it. Fuck
Where?
it.
Who are we taking?
Let's
where
go
are the
to bed
Lions at?
early
Where do you see
tonight.
the Lions are? What are you guys watching? NFL
It
Network?
doesn't show it on ESPN. It just popped
Yeah,
up
NFL
on
Network.
NFL
Yeah,
Network.
Where's crack, man?
they just took the fucking. I told you it's gonna be a fucking guard.
All right, here we
Oh,
go.
Jackson
I'll
Powers
tell you who.
Johnson.
I'll
Or
tell you
maybe
who it's
Corner.
not. It's not
I
Brian.
gotta go.
Don't tell me I can't see it. I can't see it. Don't say shit. I can't see it yet. Either.
Big.
From our set back into the draft theater area. It's like something we said.
Pavo, you jumping off?
I think he doesn't have this on, so he doesn't want to see it.
All right. I'll re-add him after the.
Yeah, hold on.
Pat, where are
I might
you?
be a bit delayed. I'm on the.
So
NFL
I'll wait
Network.
for you to respond.
Yeah, I'm Hulu, so I think I'm adjusted just a couple seconds behind you.
Oh,
I gotta
God.
imagine it's cornerback or guard, or it's gonna be one of the center guards or a cornerback. It's my guess.
Could it be Kool-Aid?
No, they would take the other guy before Kool-Aid.
Who's Cooper
Yeah.
DeJean?
Terrion. He's still there.
Oh, he's still there.
The top Alabama. That's what I said. That's who I would get right now. I'd go up and get him
24th
right now.
overall pick.
He should have. He should have been top 15.
What did we give them?
Easy.
I have Graham Barton as my best available player.
Oh,
right
that's
now.
nothing. That's nothing. Oh, love it.
What did we give up?
A third round. We swapped the third and the 7th.
Okay. Wait, so we gave them a third and we got their 7th?
Third for a 7th rounder. Yeah. Third round for a 7th round, and then swapped
Okay.
our first rounds.
Not bad.
That's not
That was
bad.
the Vikings. That was the Vikings' third round.
No, yep,
That
you're
was
right.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
Who
Okay,
gives
well,
a shit?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, fuck it. I know. Give me a corner. Give me either a corner or Jackson Powers Johnson. Oh,
I
come
mean,
on.
pants. It's a pants off pick for me, no matter what. The way the
So
score
they're
looks
saying
right
that
now.
the pick is in, but then they're also like on the screen it says on the clock. I have to.
Well,
piss
I think if the
so
trade
bad.
came in so late that they're just like, fuck, like we weren't ready for it. Because there was 25
Well,
seconds.
the
left, man.
NFL
Now-
hates when the Lions do
Oh,
that.
see,
The NFL hates how the Lions put
Yeah,
their
they're
picks in
going
so
to go to
early.
a commercial or something.
If they're going to a commercial, I gotta piss. I have to piss
Um,
like a fucking racehorse.
You don't need. You have what's his name, Jameson.
I'll tell you though.
I'm surprised Worthy didn't go. yet.
You called it, Matt. You're like, are we gonna do to the Packers again?
We did it to the fucking Packers again. Let's go. Oh,
Got
this
him.
is great.
Got him.
This is so great. Oh, if my buddy Danny is tuning into the. I don't think he is. He probably would have been in the comments. Die-hard Packers fan. Oh my God, dude, I have to piss. Are they going to a commercial break?
Oh, that's really cool. That little drone thing.
All right,
I'll tell
so
you, dude. I'll tell you what, man. They did a great job for this.
Who
man.
is this
I've,
dude
I've
in the-
heard
in
nothing
the-
but good things come out of
in-
Detroit about this whole thing.
Who's the dude in the pink suit? Who is this? Is this Terry on? Is this the kid
I
from?
can't see. I can't see shit yet. Wait, I'm a little behind you. Don't be giving me
How
away.
fucking far behind are you?
I don't fucking know. Still see the crowd right now.
They're still saying on the clock, but the pick is in. All right, I'm taking a piss. Fuck it.
I think it's because they probably got someone announcing the pick for Detroit and they weren't ready for him, so they had to fucking hey dude, we're trading up, making this pick. You gotta get out there to announce it.
Yeah. No, that's
It's got-
100% what happened. No,
Oh,
as soon as you go
100%.
upstairs, he's gonna come out here.
Yeah, it's got to be Arnold. I can't imagine. I mean, Arnold. I'm shocked. This is the best value pick for them, and he played with fucking Brian Branch. Put in two guys that know how to play next to each other a year apart. Fucking match made in heaven.
You don't need a receiver. You don't need a running back. You don't need a-
Yeah, see, that's why they needed all these people. I told you, they needed all these people. That's why that's why it was delayed.
I think the pick's gonna be Graham. I think it's gonna be Graham Barton, and I think you guys are gonna be so happy about it. But I think Jackson Powers Johnson's a good pick. I think both picks.
Just don't say anything till it happens. I'm
I'm
pretty
not
sure
gonna
I'm
say
behind you
anything.
guys. I'm behind you guys. All right, let's see. Let's go.
But he would have to play interior.
He's going to play interior.
Although
He's an interior line.
Decker might be in his last season.
Decker is in his last year of his contract.
He's a Gumby. This guy's. Here we go. Welcome to
All
the
right.
Goodell Circus.
All
He's
right,
gonna
yeah,
give
Jesus
us the
Christ.
fucking biographies of all 6 of these girls and guys.
Where's my beer?
And this monster of a man to the right.
Could you just knock something down? All right. Jack Sparrows Johnson, come on.
Let's
Brian
go!
Arnold.
Yeah!
All right,
Oh
we
my
happy with this?
God! That is such a dude. Brian Branch's fucking teammate. It's gonna be such
Good
an
pick.
easy transition for them. This is fucking amazing.
This is good. Listen, I
Holy
wanted
shit!
I wanted the interior offensive line because that's
Dude,
a lot of what I saw.
I,
But
what,
Yeah,
they
I,
need
I-
they need help on the back end. They
I
need help on the
said
back
this-
end.
I said this earlier. So they did an interview with him, and I was like, and I saw it. I was like, fucking Dan Campbell, guys, he's there. He was like, they're interviewing him, and all he talked about in his interview was like how he appreciated this janitor from when he was in high school. That he always used to talk to, and used to give him life lessons when he came to school. And he's in 11th grade. Went back and saw the dude. Like he's just that kind of guy. I was like, that's a Dan Campbell guy right there. And like that's how this is gonna be so fucking good. Humble dude. Plays next to Branch, so there's gonna be a chemistry right out the fucking gate between these guys. Like, this is such a good fucking pick. Holy shit. Dude. Oh
Listen,
my
they
God.
needed this. They needed help. They needed help on the back end of the defense.
Dude, him
What do
and
the Packers
Carlton-
need? Did they fuck the Packers or no?
No, they didn't.
Oh.
They didn't need a corner.
No, Packers got fucking what's his name?
That's a really good question.
Alexander.
Packers got they got decent corners, but like their defense has always been pretty solid the last few years. But but Packers were going guard, center, no matter what.
Packers needed.
Getting a
They do
fucking-
need a corner. They need offensive line.
Like I said,
And-
like I told you, I think both Tampa and Arizona want a cornerback, and I think that's who they were trying to get ahead of, and they weren't going to trade with Green Bay to give away anything that
give
they
them
want to get up there.
picks.
Just to say that we want.
I mean, at this point, Dallas is basically a fucking divisional opponent for us because we play them every fucking year, and
in
we always
Dallas
get
for some
fucked
fucking
against them.
reason, which I don't understand. We've been in Dallas the last, I think, 3 years in a row now. At Dallas. How's that fucking possible?
This was good. This is good. This feels good.
I'm getting a jersey tomorrow. That's how good tonight. This is like a jersey night. You guys you know what I'm talking about? They get the pick, you get the jersey.
Brian, what's his name? Brian Jones.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, I really
That's good,
like
man.
that
We
pick.
needed. You know what? Cornerbacks are never a sexy pick. It's like not. It's not fun drafting a corner, but you need them. And
Listen, it's a meek
this
on the other
defense needed
side
it.
right now. Like we had no one else on the outside.
Yeah.
That's like that's high level. I should
especially
say. Now,
with everything that happened to Cam Sutton, like you need that help. You need that help on that side of the
I
ball.
completely almost forgot about that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like this had to be done, and it sucks losing that 3rd round pick. I'm not gonna lie, that was a high 3rd rounder, but you still have your 2nd rounder. And you know what? I really wouldn't be shocked if he moves up. He either moves back into the 3rd round with some of those 6th round picks or something, or he
Yeah,
trades something.
they're
for
like
next
2 of
year.
those 6 and the 7th, get back in the 4th
Yeah.
or 3rd. Yeah, I can see it.
They got 1 7th. They have 2 in the 6th.
I just can't even believe it. You know how you just talk about
fired
the
up.
same fucking guys over and over again for months, and then when you get one,
This is how I felt about.
that's how you guys are literally talking about Terry Arnold. How long are you talking about Terry Arnold for? You probably didn't even think you could get him.
I thought it was gonna be Kool-Aid. I thought we were gonna get Kool-Aid because picking at 29, I did not think we were gonna get
You never
Terry
thought you could
Arnold.
get Terrion, no.
I mean, dude, they're both good. This guy is
What-
better.
What really helped the Lions this draft was the fact that there was such a run on offense in the top of the draft, and nobody started on defense till pick 15, the Colts with Latu from UCLA. Like that really bailed out the Lions. Like there was no run on corners. There was no, you know what I mean? The whole run in the beginning of the draft was offensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver. That bailed them out big time. That was huge for the Lions.
That was fucking awesome.
Oh, this guy's hyped right now. You think they're taking this kid to Legends tonight? I think they're taking him to Legends. They're gonna have him up on the 3rd floor ripping Marlboro Reds and Jello shots out of some stripper's belly button. Good for him. You go, kid. This is what Detroit needed, though. I mean, we talked about this, and it was corner or interior offensive line. You know, like Paul said, you could go interior offensive line later in the draft. You'll probably still get a good guy in the 2nd round.
Oh, you for sure can.
You needed to
I said
capitalize.
earlier, there's a lot of good guards like in the middle
You
rounds.
sleep, you just don't.
How do I sleep?
Yeah, with the fucking train, you know.
The train? No, I don't even notice it.
I guess no, you're right.
So used to it from the firehouse.
That's
so,
what I'm saying. Yeah, I was up when I was on Owen. I didn't really hear it.
no.
Yeah,
You
train
don't
up back
notice
my house too. I'm used
Yeah,
to
I
that
never
shit. It
noticed
doesn't
it.
even fucking bother me.
it. My mom said that when I got. Yeah, why the fuck are we talking about this? It's the
Nah,
fucking
it's
NFL
fine.
draft.
I literally
the fucking
live-
NFL draft, and we just got a fucking potentially best corner in the draft.
I used to live 2 blocks, and not even 2. I used to live fucking 10 houses farther away. So, and I never felt it, and I'm like, oh shit, you could actually feel it from here. But you're 3 houses away. It's a good day. Yeah, I mean, you got Terrion Arnold at 24. Guy shouldn't have been there. Jags got, I mean, unbelievable talent at
Dude,
23.
I was saying for the last 3 picks, I was like, I want them to trade up for this guy now.
It's crazy. There's the Jags and the Giants, bro. They always give you a good show on the draft. Like they always give you a good product. Like the Lions are always doing it. Like even when like the last 5 years have been awesome to be fans of both of these teams.
Their drafts have been pretty solid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way you're talking about, what's his face, Brian Thomas, is the way it felt. I think for like us as Lions fans with Aiden Hutchinson, because and like yeah, we had the 2nd pick, but like we were just kind of thinking the whole time, like man, I pray Jacksonville does not take him. I pray they make that mistake. They don't take this guy. Like this is exactly.
We
what
haven't had a
need.
game-changing edge in so long. It was just been
Exactly.
so long.
Essentially since Cliff Averill. Like
Yeah,
Ziggy
I
Ansah
said,
had
yeah.
that 1 year, and that was it.
He was like a one-trick pony that looked good, then everyone figured him out, and he just sucked.
Yeah, he looked good because he was next to Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, that does help.
And that was it.
Here we go. Packers.
I'd
You
be
gonna fucking
shocked.
say
I'd
it?
be
Come on.
absolutely shocked if this isn't a guard or center. Shocked.
Jordan Morgan. First
think
one I
it's-
got right. I actually had him going there in my mock.
Mm.
Wow. Good pick. 26th graded player. So now we have Graham Barton still available. I can't believe
I guess the Bakhtiari replacement.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are taking Xavier Worthy. It's happening.
I can see that. I got the Bills taking who do I have them taking? I got them taking that receiver.
Hopefully they take Keon Coleman and he sucks.
Nah, I got Xavier Legette. I got them with Xavier
Bills
Legette.
probably taking a receiver. They just got rid of Stephon Diggs.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're taking Xavier Legette. Like 6'1", runs a sub 4.4.
Tampa Bay Bucks pick is in. Once again, I mean, we're coming on 11:15 at night. We've been doing this live stream for 3 hours now. You guys have stayed with us. I said it before. I thanked you. I'm gonna continue to thank you. Everybody that's in the comments. We got some new comments here. Thank you so much, guys. Stevie Mack, thanks for the third rounder. We needed it. Good pick. Arnold is solid. I think Arnold's a little more than solid.
Dallas fan. Yeah.
I always forget Stevie Mack is a Dallas fan.
Appreciate
Stevie,
him
once
now.
again, you got to get in touch with me. I got to send you that Sunny Days in Flushing hat. So let me know, Stevie. Yeah, thank you to everybody tuning in. We're going to continue this through the draft, and then I guess maybe a little after the draft if we got any energy left. This is awesome. What do we oh, Paul's back. Here we go. Paulie, what do we think? You happy?
I mean, yeah, no, I'm happy. I mean, we need a DB.
I think no one's as happy as me.
You know what?
No,
As
no,
great
no.
as Thursday is, Friday's better. Get your DB on whoever you need on
no,
Friday.
I mean they needed a DB big time, and if they believe, listen, it's been said all along. That's who they like at DB. Like it wasn't even a secret. People were saying that's who they want to trade up to get. So I think they got their DB that they wanted. So
I think outside
Yeah.
DB, like safety's kind of still need a little bit ish, but like
I
outside
think corner
DB,
is a much bigger need for us.
there's
than
no definitive spot you draft someone where they're absolutely starting outside corner. I think everyone's upset about I think people don't like the third rounder because it's like I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't like giving up that. But at the end of it, because we've seen what Brad Holmes has done with a third round pick, but it doesn't matter what he does with a third round pick because that person's likely not starting. That he's built a really good team, so it's not like it was 2 years ago where that third rounder has to start and needs to start. It's like it's now building to win a championship, and like what you got to fill those gaps that you have, and that's the only. And because of the Sutton piece, like Matt said it when you like that kind of made it a much big pressing need, which I kind of almost forgot about. Tried to wipe that out of my fucking.
I mean,
brain.
listen, they basically took both of their third round picks and their first round pick this year, and they used one of them to get their starting cornerback in Carlton Davis. They used the other third pick to get their other starting their corner in Arnold. And now, dude, listen, if our boy here, who we just drafted, Arnold, turns in to be a stud, dude, with Brian Branch,
Yeah.
Arnold, and Carlton Davis just be good. You don't have to be great.
But that's
They're
part of it.
They're
So
great.
look at this. So you got Carlton Davis coming in, you got Branch, you got Meek, you got all these guys. Like a lot of these guys haven't played together. Branch has chemistry and has played with this guy for 2 years.
Yeah, I was
My
just
dog's yelling
listening.
at
I
me.
don't know.
I think I need
Were you guys listening watching NFL or ESPN?
I'm on NFL Network.
Yeah, because I was listening to Nick Saban on ESPN breaking it down, and he just talked about what kind of high character guy Arnold is.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. He was
yeah.
talking about his janitor from high school when they interviewed him earlier. And I was like, that's a fucking Dan Campbell guy. Like, he's like, they're asking him about oh, what about your life? He's like, he's like, this janitor, when I went to this school in 11th grade, he's like, he was just a great guy to me, taught me all kinds of life lessons. And he's just a janitor.
He
I
gave
saw
his
that.
jersey to him, yeah.
Dude, when I saw that, I was like, fucking Dan Campbell guy right there. If he's there,
Nick Saban
that's
said
the
he'd
guy.
be over every single day, and he just played rummy with them, played cards with them, hang out with them. He never went and got himself in trouble. He just hung out with coaches.
I'm like, that's Dan Campbell all over it.
Yeah.
Like that's when I saw that earlier today, I was like, if he falls like Branch did, I was like,
Did you hear his parents? Did you hear his parents talk?
No, I did. I had it on mute.
Yeah, they had him on. His parents seemed like great people. His mom, really well spoken. His dad, and all of them were talking and about how hard he works, and they just seem like good people. So
he's very well spoken too.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. It's like, listen, like
now we got a guy who can at least guard your boy Thomas, right? When Jacksonville and the Lions be in the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
Wait, Thomas, right?
that'd be a fun Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Oh, that was all. I'm very happy about that pick. I think I'm happier than most, but I was very.
No, I'm pumped up.
I was super high on it. When
I'm
I've been caught saying the trade up for him for like the last like 8 picks. Like I don't fucking care. I was like, give up something. It's
Yeah.
because there's always you only have so many positions on the team. Like, and we have so many accounted for. It's like I know we got more shit coming up, but
Totally forgot I have one of these.
what's he talking? What's he going on about?
Oh man, I'm more excited for that than I am the pick.
He found a.
Found a Busch Light in my fridge. I'm fucking pumped. Let's
How are you more
go.
excited about that? This is a great pick.
No, I'm excited, but like I thought I was out of Busch Light. I have another one.
You
Dude,
think
this is
Goodell's
great.
going to announce a pick in the next 15 minutes? You're crazy.
Probably not. Yeah, it's true.
He's in the bathroom.
It's wild how much talent's still available. Like I would.
This is crazy. This first round is fucking crazy. The way
The
this
amount
is
of
going.
quarterbacks, the trades, like everything happening is.
I
Like,
thought
so-
we were gonna have like 4 first round. Like I anticipated that. I didn't fucking like the quarterbacks. I thought we would like. I genuinely thought we'd have like 4 in the top 10, and then like Penix would go like 31, 32. Like somebody would trade in to get Penix or something like that. I did
had
not
him.
anticipate Penix going that early.
I had Penix 13 just because I thought he was a really good fit for the Raiders. But if they didn't take him at 13, I thought they'd trade back into the first round to get him. That was
the
my
Raiders?
thought. I always had him like pegged for the Raiders.
That was
but-
probably their fucking plan. They probably.
Oh,
I don't think anybody anticipated
anybody-
the Falcons doing it. Nobody anticipated this.
Dude,
This
it's
is
called-
the shock of the night.
Hey, Matt, $180 million smoke screen. Ever heard of it? Like, what the fuck was that?
I don't.
There-
I just,
there we go.
I,
There
I,
goes
I,
your boy.
I,
There
I
goes
can't
your boy.
understand it. Oh, Graham Burton.
It's a really
So he's
good
a
pick.
center. So he's literally listed as the center.
Yeah, he's listed as a center.
Oh no. Okay, I thought he was an offensive tackle.
He did. He played tackle.
Oh, this guy
for-
played all over. He can play every spot.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
insane.
cool. That's good, man. That's a good pick.
He's a mover.
Good for them because I think they lost. Didn't they lose Jensen last year or whatever?
Yeah, they needed.
Yeah, but they got Wirfs. Put him next to Wirfs, man. That's a fucking stout little fucking.
You ready?
Huh?
No, I love it. No, I'm talking about. Say hi to Steve. He's working inside Ford Field right now.
What's up, Steve?
Ew. Kind of hear. What's
Oh.
up? I think I kind of hear you.
No.
Well, that's a good pick, man. That's a good pick for the Buccaneers.
Early
They needed
pick,
help
man.
interior.
Yeah.
Dude, everyone in the back end, like this is the best probably year to ever pick in the back half of the draft.
Yeah.
Those quarterbacks
Oh,
just
100%.
pushed
Um.
all these fucking people back.
Yeah. No, for sure. Hey, I'll hit you up in a little bit.
Where are the Cardinals
All right.
going to go?
All right, bye.
Who did the Cardinals take in the? They took Marvin Harrison Jr. Forgot about that. All right, so the Cardinals still. Need,
I read that. I've been hearing that Kirk Cousins' camp is really upset.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
Yeah,
I
they already
guarantee
came out and they already said that they guaranteed Cousins they're gonna draft assets to go win this year.
Well, they technically didn't give up anything for the pick, so they could still
No,
draft.
they said
Could
they're gonna
you
go draft
imagine
him.
being in that room with Kirk Cousins? Like he
He
probably.
He doesn't want to curse, but he has to.
He's just like he's next to his wife and kids, like, oh, snickle
Damn
for
it.
Oh, could you believe these bananas doing this? Sliding this rug underneath my feet.
He's like a cartoon character.
Darius
I mean,
Robertson. That's a really good pick. Really
It's
good pick
great
to get him this
value.
late.
I would
That's
have loved the Lions to take
unbelievable.
him. I've been fine with the Lions taking him
Yeah.
too.
This fucking guy looks like Stevie Wonder. What are those
He
glasses?
does look like
What the fuck is this guy doing?
got a lot of forehead. A lot of forehead.
Isn't she
Yeah, he looks like Brashad Perriman.
Yeah.
Isn't she precious?
That's a beautiful voice.
No, there's a lot of. It's not a beautiful voice. There are a lot of people. This has nothing to do with the NFL draft, but there is one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that there is a conspiracy theory out there that Stevie Wonder is not actually blind, and their only like source of evidence is like a video of him at a concert, and like he's like playing on the piano or whatever, and the music is falling off the fucking stand, and he catches it and puts it back on.
Yeah, I know.
Where's Stevie Wonder from?
Is he from Detroit?
Mhm.
Draco.
Detroit
I
has.
brought extra
dude,
treats with me because
I'm a big proprietor of Detroit. Mike Posner is awesome. I love fucking White Stripes. They're Detroit people, or Michigan at least. God, a lot of like not just
Cousins.
old.
Cousins
old.
told him the Falcons says he's disappointed with them.
He said that.
What
Did
a
they look
fucking-
at him and
They
say,
called
so-
him. They
But they're idiots. Like you're just as unless they have a trade worked out. But like, how's he probably signed a
you're
no
still
trade clause.
idiots. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't matter. A signing bonus sticks with you. What you signed that guaranteed money, they cut you a check. That's why we get stuck with Stafford's money. You know,
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And I think Penix is a fucking downgrade from Cousins anyway. I think Penix at his ceiling is still not Cousins where he is right now.
Penix sucks. No, I'm
I
joking.
don't
He
know.
doesn't suck.
Facino,
but-
you like
it's-
Penix, no?
I love Penix. He was my
Well,
16th
why?
ranked player.
I just look
see
at
it.
it as like I don't think you can outright say the guy sucks. He's had one like mediocre game, which was against the team that won the championship. So like I don't know how anyone could
he had a
legitimately say
great
he
no.
sucks.
He had a great season. I'm not taking anything away from his season. I think he did everything right this season. I'm not.
I think he had
I'm-
like 6
not
fourth
taking
quarter
away from that.
comebacks this year.
I just
Saying
don't.
he's-
I don't
saying
see
he
his
sucks
game
alludes
translating
to
to the
term
NFL.
sucks.
How does his game
exactly.
translate to the NFL? He's not mobile. He's got a big arm, but he's got a long fucking release, and
He's
he's injury
mobile. He
prone.
just doesn't use it. The guy ran like a 4.5 at the combine. He's mobile. He just doesn't use
And he's
it.
injury prone. He's not injury prone. 100% he is.
He's the best. He's
I
amazing.
said-
they made such a good
I-
pick. They
when we
I thought
basically
Caleb
Kirk
Williams.
Cousins.
I thought Caleb
The
Williams. was your
Buffalo
boy.
traded the pick to Kansas City to go get Worthy. Wow. Xavier Worthy to Kansas City. Guarantee. Lock it in. If it's not Worthy, why
That's
would
the
they
wide
do that?
receiver from Texas. Wow.
What was I saying? Oh, so Michael Penix had the best pressure to sack ratio of any quarterback in the last 15 years. Like that's the one thing about him that he's really good at is he just doesn't get sacked. So,
But
what that
only-
tells
You know,
me is
can
that
I tell you what I really want to know that same topic? I really want to know what Penix wrote in that letter that he sent out to like all the GMs last week about him. Or
he
this
wrote.
week. He wrote like a love letter and Atlanta like bid on it.
Yeah, basically he wrote like I don't really care. Like I've already been through all this stuff, so if I didn't go through it, would I be a better player? No. And I'm healthy, and I just ran a 4.4, and I didn't even want to run because I didn't want to get hurt because I wanted to get drafted. But a lot of these quarterbacks change their style up a little bit when they get to the NFL. So I think that if Penix has to take off, he'll take off. But I think at the same time, you know, he had good receivers, and he threw Roma Dunze open. Like Roma Dunze was able to create a lot of separation, but a lot of those throws were you know, throws that were allowing him to create that separation.
But how
And
much
so-
of those throws going to be?
Those are not
available in the-
NFL throws. Those are
but
college
that's-
throws. You
that's-
don't
They're
throw that
not.
kind of ball. It's a different
Michael
game.
Penix has so many college throws on his film that that's why he went number 8. The guy is just the best quarterback in the draft, and if he wasn't hurt,
What?
he would
That's
probably have went number 2 overall if he
That's
didn't have injuries.
Crazy.
It's
Went
Okay.
number 8,
Casino.
and he had
Here's one of the
two
worst
eight-
releases. Come on, they like
He doesn't though. He
eight
actually has
foot-
a smooth release. It's just a lefty. If you go and you watch his tape in reverse, and if you watch a mirror view of his game, he actually looks like he has a sick throwing motion.
I mean, I don't know you. Maybe you're breaking down. I've heard a lot of like guys break down his arm, and they call it clunky, slow. Can't maneuver to throw from different angles. So
I don't
mean,
see
you
a
might be
difference
right.
between
I
his
don't-
arm. He has basically the same arm as CJ Stroud. It's just he's a lefty.
I
and that's
will
just
say
what it is.
this from like whenever there's a new mechanic, you know how remember how bad we heard Matthew Stafford's
Stafford
throw
and the side
mechanics
arm.
were, and then Mahomes came in, and it's
Yeah.
how you're supposed to now throw it.
Yeah.
Everything
You want-
sucks until they're the darling of the NFL. That's when it becomes the new norm.
Yeah, if
I'm
he's
not
good.
talking
However-
I'm talking. I just said the opposite. His release is slow. That he only throws from one angle. He can't change it to throw from different angles and release points. He throws from up here like high, like that's. He can't throw from different angles if he wants. He's slow at doing that.
I mean,
I never
Casino,
really
you
remember
like
looking
do you,
slow
do
to
you
get
like
it out
him
of
more than you like
bypass.
Caleb Williams?
no, Caleb Williams is the best. It was Caleb Williams was always the best quarterback, but it was Penix that was the guy. He's a leader. He's a guy that you could look up to. He's been through it. You know,
He said he played a perfect game against Michigan and couldn't have done any better. He threw his whole team under the bus. How's he a leader? He said right after the game, I did everything to win.
look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what he said. It matters what
just said
that
he's a
locker
leader.
room. Yeah, because he's the number. I would say he's the biggest leader in college football from last year. He led the team. You know, Washington didn't win a single game by more than a score. They won all of their games by one score. Michael Penix was on the field. They had to go down the field in almost every game and score at the end. And he was able to
the
do it
Pac-12
every
sucks.
single week. And that like, it's just incredible. I honestly am happy.
I'm
for the
curious.
guy.
What was the record for Michigan when Tom Brady was there? Were they
I
good?
don't know.
I mean, they
They
won.
won.
They won a national title.
So
They-
but greatest
they didn't
QB
win,
and the
but-
second greatest QB, Mahomes, he was on trajectory to be. Also not great in college. So like the whole winning thing, I just throw out the fucking window. Winning in
What do you mean,
college means you played
what does Tom Brady have to do with not winning?
Winning in college means you played.
Hold
in
on,
a
hold
good
on. But what are you talking about Tom Brady not winning in college?
I said that was he like were they like just like this outstanding team? I don't know. I
They
don't.
won a national
No,
title.
I don't think it's about. I think it's more about the fact that every game he was able to go down and lead his team down the field. Like, you know, one comment that he made after a championship game, but the whole year, and like everybody looked up to Michael Penix. Like they really did. He was the oldest guy in the locker room. He got his shit done. He should have won the Heisman. They didn't lose a single game until Michigan. I think that
She must sing the world of Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker.
I think Hendon Hooker is good.
like
Listen,
What's the
I just don't
difference
look.
there?
When
Hendon Hooker has
people-
a bigger arm than him.
But he's
If
a better
someone
player
had-
than
if-
Ken. He's a better
faster-
player than Hendon Hooker.
if
by
someone's
far.
telling me like if
Hendon
I'm asking
Hooker's going to
someone
win
why
the
someone's
Heisman last year.
if I ask someone why someone's good and they tell me like because they win and they're not pointing to actually any attribute they have, that's not good enough for me. Period.
Well,
I know
no,
what you
I mean,
mean.
look, at the end of the day,
Like just like
if
when
you
I hear
really,
like
all
JJ
right.
McCarthy or other people.
Did you
that
guys
he
watch
talks about,
any
like, it's
watch?
just,
I
like,
watched
doesn't make
every
sense. JJ
single
McCarthy
game
had-
last year.
JJ
The guy was
I
the
mean,
best
Penn-
player in college football. He went 8th overall, and that's at the end of the day. Too bad. Everybody could hate the pick. If you went back and watched fucking Washington football last year, my sister went to USC, so I'm a big USC guy. I love the Pac-12. And I didn't go to a football school, so I've always watched USC. Caleb Williams was the best player in football 2 years ago. This year was not. This year, they play games at 10 o'clock at night. I know nobody wants to watch Washington football, but I honestly watched a ton. I watched every game. The guy was hands down the best player on the field, and Rome Odunze was on the field, and Polk was on the field, and Fatana was on the field, and Rosengarten, and it didn't matter because the entire team was Michael Penix throwing those guys open. Michael Penix, Rome Odunze was great. But I'm telling you, go back and watch a lot of those Rome Odunze, big plays that he made, and there's fantastic throws by Penix. Penix is able to stay in the pocket. He's the only quarterback this year that understands the pocket. And if he didn't get hurt, he wouldn't have understood it. But it took the last 2 years, he's been basically just trying to be a statue, trying to be the best quarterback that he can be. The fact that he doesn't use his legs, it makes him think more. It makes him a better pocket passer. He's probably the best pocket passer in this draft. And
I completely couldn't disagree more.
Who would you say is a better pocket passer than him?
Bo Nix is a better pocket passer, I think.
Bo
than
Nix
Penix.
was a.
I mean,
that offense
Penix
doesn't.
has one
anybody
strength
can
and
play
throwing
it
the
out.
ball down the field.
Xavier Worthy. Yep.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick
good-
for Kansas
it's
City.
a sick pick.
And they needed wide receiver help big time.
Wow.
They needed wide receiver help, and they just fucking won the Super Bowl. Fuck them.
And they just got a 4-2-1 guy.
What did they
Mahomes
give up?
back.
What did they give up to move up to 28?
Doesn't even matter. It was worth it.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. I'm saying I'm just curious. What did they?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That was a really good pick for them.
Damn, that
was
sucks.
really
God,
good.
he's
That's-
fucking 4-2-1. Jesus Christ.
He ran. He was the one. He was the one that ran a 4-2.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
they
that
couldn't
was
get.
good.
They couldn't get down the field last year.
They got him his new Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Such a good pick.
Imagine being so good that you could fucking get rid of Tyreek Hill, win the Super Bowl, and then go draft his replacement in the end of the first round. That's insane.
Yeah.
They're so fucking good.
Wait, didn't they get rid of Tyreek Hill, win 2 Super Bowls, and then get
Yeah, they
White?
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So fucking.
Yeah, because they just went
ridiculous.
back to back, right?
Yeah. That's the team.
That's fucking absurd.
Cowboys are up, and they are going to take Jackson Powers Johnson. I think that might be.
They
a
need
lock.
an
Yeah, that's a
lineman big
Cowboys
time.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, I think
that would
Baltimore
be-
takes him after losing Zeter.
Yeah.
See, they already picked him. I would have to assume it's Jackson Powers Johnson.
It should be.
You guys got Terry on him at 24.
I'm
pretty
fucking
amazing.
fired. I'm still fired up about that. It's so good.
Yeah.
Like now I look at it, like I try
Cornerbacks.
to look at.
Cornerbacks
Okay.
are like good brakes for your car. Like you don't think about them, but like you need them. Like it's not something like getting a fucking brake job. Like if you're not changing the brakes in your car yourself, it's so expensive to get a brake job at a fucking mechanic shop. But like it is a brake job. A good brake job is the difference between crashing your car and stopping short in fucking bumper to bumper traffic.
Dude, like it or not, man, I'm like the more I like now looking at like just looking at the landscape of like our division and the skill set positions, like fucking stacked across
Yeah.
the fucking board on each team at receiver, tight end, fucking like running back. Like these are really good offenses.
it-
You need good cornerbacks.
It goes back honestly, it goes back to three things for me. It goes back to the NFC Championship, like losing that game to the Niners and just watching Brock Purdy pass all over us. Like losing the game on Thanksgiving to Green Bay, just watching Jordan Love pick this defense apart. And then like the last couple of minutes of the Minnesota game when we won the division in Minnesota, yes, we won, but like we're biting our nails, like praying that somebody makes a fucking mistake. And yeah, Nick Mullins made a mistake. He threw it to Ife Melifonwu, but it is so reassuring knowing that you've got one more insurance policy back there that's going to play hopefully every snap.
Yeah, and I think it also gives some flexibility for if
Here we
need be to put Branch back at safety because Kirby has had fucking hip surgery, and if he as good as you look, we have a small sample size. and
Branch
he
is
hasn't-
not late. Branch is not going to safety. Like
Wow.
they just had Saban talking about him too. He plays
Wow.
that new X position where like you're free to like do whatever you want. You play run, you play linebacker, you play a third safety, you play
No,
nickel. So
I
they're
get
not,
that.
and you're not gonna handicap Branch by just taking him back at safety. You need
I'm not
that
talking
guy.
handicap. I'm talking
But
we
that's-
don't
that's
have
kind of
healthy
a
guys
modern-
back there.
It's kind of a modern
period.
day, like that's kind of a modern day strong safety. Is a guy that
Yeah,
kind
like,
of
that's what I'm saying,
does
moves
everything.
around.
Look, he's gonna
Yeah.
play third, but he's never gonna go back there. If not, they would have used him last.
He's not
year.
going to be a
Like,
free safety.
He's
No.
not going to be a
no.
free or strong. He's gonna if
No.
they want to go three safeties, yeah, he could drop back. But he's gonna be
My-
a nickel guy.
my
playing at
point
the
was
line
more
of scrimmage.
depth.
Yeah.
My point was more depth because like if a Kirby or if he went down, who's playing?
Oh, we got
Branch,
a couple of
I mean-
Branch immediately becomes your best safety. If
We-
I don't think they're gonna play Branch there if they one of those guys goes down.
boys. I do have to put this
Who do
to
you
a
put
halt
there?
because we have a couple of Cowboys
Can you even
fans. I
name
know
the backup after those guys?
Stevie Mack is a big Cowboys fan,
Um,
and we've got some Cowboys fans in the chat.
I know who it is. It's a nobody.
Do we have anything
Well,
on?
what's his?
Wait. Let's get in on the Cowboys real quick. The Cowboys just took Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. We all thought it was going to be Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. Cowboys needed interior help. They went exterior. Is Tyler a guy that's going to move and play interior, or is he
No,
probably
he's
a tackle?
6'7". He's
pretty
gonna be
tall,
playing on the
yeah.
outside. Yeah.
This is kind of an odd. Well, actually, no. It does
Yeah.
make sense because they just lost Tyron Smith.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I
So
think
that's
that
the
Tyler
replacement.
Smith was going to kick out to tackle, and they needed a guard or center.
Well, they should.
And-
They're showing highlights of him playing right and left side. So
I don't think he's a very good prospect. But what
You
do I
would
know?
you would have went with Powers Johnson here.
So the guy that I've been following for about 10 years, his name is Vach Lombardi. He's a huge Cowboys fan. But he's, he goes to the Senior Bowl and he watches everybody and he's been doing it for like 10 years. He's very, very smart. And he's normally
He's
pretty
the guy that
good.
breaks down tape. He's a black dude. He's got a beard,
Yep.
right? Yeah, I've watched his videos.
And he's got Tyler Guyton as his 14th lineman. and he had Jackson Powers Johnson as his 5th lineman. He had Zach Frazier as 10th, Christian Jones 11, Kingsley Sumataya, Blake Fisher. So there's probably like he's not going to be happy at all. He didn't like Guyton. I don't know. I mean, they always wind up, they're like a factory for linemen. So I mean, they're probably right. But
There's a good chance they probably got this right, and we just
Yeah.
don't even know it. But I do want to know. I mean, unless Baltimore takes Powers Johnson here, what the hell? Like, what does the rest of the NFL know that we don't about Jackson Powers Johnson? Because this was the guy that people expected to go within the top 20,
I thought
and
he
he's
would.
still here.
Well, what about the
I mean,
Ravens lost
I've
Patrick
seen him
Queen?
go. I've seen him go in early second. I've seen him go anywhere from high 18, 19, 20 to early
Yeah.
second.
It's been like late
Yeah.
first, early second. This
Yeah.
isn't like I get.
I saw the opposite on him. I saw people were saying this was going to be the first interior off the board.
I did not see that.
It wound up being Barton.
The Kentucky guy was the guy I saw as like these.
I'm reading this article here by this is like a local writer in Seattle, from the University of Washington that was breaking down Penix's style of play. Which like I said, I didn't watch too many games of Penix. I mean, I watched him when he sucked at Indiana because of Big Ten, but guess who his this guy says his NFL quarterback
Tom?
comparison is? Yeah.
Who?
I mean, just give a wild guess. Who
Is it a-
who this
is it a
guy
lefty?
compares Penix?
Are they comparing
no.
him to a left? Oh.
No.
Dak Prescott?
No, Pat. Who's your one guess that they compare Penix to?
Penix? I don't fucking.
And this just
have it.
shows
Mark
you why I
Brunell.
don't.
I don't.
Mark Brunell?
I
He said it's not a lefty.
Mark
Oh, it's- oh,
Mark
sorry.
Brunell.
He is lefty. A guy.
Mark
that
Brunell is a
compared-
lefty.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't hear that.
I was like,
This just makes my day. So this guy compared Penix
Oh, I
Which
think you
just
said Mark
shows you how
Brunell.
much
was
I
like,
know. to his NFL comparison is Kirk Cousins.
what? Oh fuck.
Like that's what a Washington Seattle writer going pre-draft was comparing Penix to.
I have no qualms with again, like any of these quarterbacks, like I have that they could all
You don't
suck.
know. You don't know who's going to be.
They
could all
Listen,
be
there's
terrible.
Wiggins.
6 of them. 3 of them will probably not get a 5th-year
What the
option on them.
fuck?
1 or 2 will be great. Pretty damn good, and then 1 will be average.
I mean, look at like last year. Probably only what you had Stroud, and probably only fight against Richardson will probably pan out. As long as he stays healthy. But other than those two, I don't know if anyone else will pan out from last year. Like,
Baltimore just took cornerback Nate Wiggins out of Clemson.
No.
I'm shocked. I didn't expect this.
that is a small fucking dude.
Well, you know what? Buffalo needs Powers guy because they had to cut their center.
Buffalo needs wide receiver help, like yesterday.
You know what? If your quarterback's that damn good, do what Patrick Mahomes did. Win a Super Bowl with no quarter
Well,
receiver.
he can't beat Mahomes. So I don't know.
I mean, you're also talking about an absolute legendary coach
Baltimore
at the
just
helm
lost-
in Kansas City too.
Baltimore just lost Zeitler. They got to protect Lamar. You want to keep seeing Lamar put up these numbers. You got to protect him. If it's not Powers Johnson, fine. It's got to be somebody else. I mean, am I alone on that?
Their defensive team.
It just seems small. 173 pounds is fucking small. That's like really
I
small.
mean, how
for the
much are
NFL.
corners even tackling anymore though? Like,
True.
That's his problem. He can't tackle.
how tall is he though? He's definitely under 6
Like
foot.
6'1".
Well, Arnold's
He's
only like what,
6'1"?
184?
I
Let
have
me
no idea.
confirm here.
Yeah, he's like 6'1", 189. I think it's closer to 190.
Who?
Arnold.
I think he's like 5'11".
Yeah, he's not
Oh,
like
I
a
thought
big
you were
tall
talking
guy.
about-
No.
No,
Wiggins
yeah.
is 6'1". Arnold is
5'11"
Wiggins
or
is 6'1",
something.
173.
What's Arnold?
Well, that's what I'm saying. 6'1",
Arnold's like
173.
Arnold's
Skinny
like
as fuck.
5'11" and a half and like 182 or 184.
So Arnold is my height. Definitely not my weight. That's for sure.
He's 6 feet 190.
Who, Arnold?
Terrion.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Is that his combine height?
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, at that point, what's the difference between 5'11" and a half and 6 feet?
Well, I think they had him over here when he got drafted.
Yeah, you gotta
got
remember. So like,
or something like
he'll
that.
be
Yeah.
he'll be closer to 200 by game day. Like, you know what I mean? He'll be conditioning and shit like that. The other dude might get close to 180, but like 180 and 200 is a fucking world of 20 pounds is a world of difference for a cornerback to get pushed around.
Yeah, but also too, as you're packing that weight on, you're losing speed, no matter what. I mean,
True.
so I wouldn't be shocked if Arnold plays his whole career under a little under 200. I'd see a sweet
Yeah, he'll
spot of
play
like
under
195. I mean, you got to think St. Brown's like what, just under 200. St. Brown's like 198 or something. I don't think St. Brown's 200 pounds.
He's just a fucking
He's a
hell.
beast, but I don't think he's.
Yeah,
even
but he's
200
also
pounds.
he grew up
I mean,
like
here
that.
they
though,
here
you know
they
what I
have him
mean?
listed at here at 203 pounds.
St. Brown.
But he's compact, man. He's
No,
just
he is.
like,
No, he's
like a
solid.
bulldog. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Remember,
I'm not
his
saying
dad's a
he's-
fucking bodybuilder. He's been
weak,
doing that
but-
his whole life.
Yeah. So San Francisco's on the clock here. Where's San Francisco going? You think they go wide receiver?
They might just because if they're gonna lose Ayuk, like feels like they kind of don't have.
They've lost some D linemen and they've lost.
Yeah.
They had to lose.
Oh.
They were weak at DB last year on the outside.
This could be like a Johnny Newton pick or a Kool-Aid. That's cool. Yeah, that's right. That's good. Yeah, I think Pal's right. I think it's gonna be. Yeah,
Here's a check.
defense.
Where do you draft Christian McCaffrey's brother?
I don't even know he's in the draft. Where
He's
does
a
he play?
fourth round pick, maybe fifth round pick.
Mhm.
What's his position?
He was a quarterback, but he's converting to play wide receiver in the combine. He was running with the receivers. So oh man.
Yeah, they lost a lot of defensive players. Who's still available on defense? Hold on. Let's see. Cooper DeJean still out there. Johnny Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Probably one of those three guys is like definitely going to be the pick. If I was a guessing man, you got Cooper DeJean, Johnny Newton, or Kool-Aid. If it's not one of those three, I'd be shocked.
I think Kool-Aid
Let's see.
falls because Kool-Aid's been like falling a lot of mocks.
The
Like the mid
next-
to late second even.
I wonder if they'd take a. They don't need a linebacker, but
Well, I mean, Johnny Newton was like the second graded tackle in this draft, I'm pretty sure. So like he behind
Yeah.
Byron, whatever his name is. So like if he'd be great value at this point. But
That's a good
I
pick.
don't think interiors are. I think they need like edge is more what they need right now. Cornerback.
I wonder maybe they'll take Jalen Polk, receiver
Who?
from Washington. He's a good player, and if they need a receiver, he's kind of like. I think he's a really good player. Braylon Trice is available.
I still think Xavier Leggett is the pick for the Bills. I don't know why. I just feel like it is.
Yeah.
What did they pick up in that trade?
It's a good.
Anyone
It's a
know?
good pick.
The Bills,
trade?
Bills.
Bills and Chiefs
No.
trade.
I just found the Jaguars got a fifth this year, and then a fourth and a fifth next year.
Yeah, they pretty much got third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
It's pretty
Okay,
good.
yeah, here's the Bills trade is. Yeah, so Bills picked up they picked up a third and seventh, gave away a fourth and seventh. So swap seventh and swap third and a fourth. So they moved up like 40
They got
spots.
hosed, kinda.
They moved up 40 spots the way it worked out. So it's not because they're in the back end of that round. So they moved up like 40 spots. So it's not terrible, I guess. You never know until you actually see how the guy
Ricky
pans out.
Pearsall. Wow. They took Ricky Pearsall. Oh my god. They're totally trading one of these guys. Now, okay. Now, if you're the Jets, can you trade a third-round pick for Deebo Samuel? Get that contract off the 49ers books. Is that a possibility? Because then they could pay Ayuk. They have Ricky Pearsall. Does that make sense? Because the Jets need a weapon. This is crazy that they didn't get a weapon.
I feel like there's going to be some player trades coming up. I feel like they got to move fucking Cousins now, too.
They can't move Cousins.
You can move anybody you want.
Yeah.
No.
All that comes
Well,
down to it's the same way.
Go
when
find me a team that has like $80 million in cap space.
Everyone can make it. I think we know about the NFL. I
See
think
what
what
the
you got to
Debo
look at
trade
is it's like when the Broncos traded what's his name to I think like Tennessee or something just to take the cap off their heads, and they gave a second round pick to take the money. If Atlanta's already eaten most of the money and you trade them, you just ask for an extra draft pick. It's like, hey, we already ate a bunch
the
of
Panthers traded up, by the way. So they traded up one spot.
All right, fucking Buffalo being smart, collecting fucking picks. And that's actually got more value to it because you're gaining the 5th-year option. So that little trade going back to the second probably netted them a nice little extra pick there.
The 49ers can trade Debo after June 1st and save $22 million in on their cap. If they trade him pre-June 1st, they only save 7. So they'd eat 21, which I don't think is actually that bad. I think it sounds worse than it is. Teams have done it in the past. But, I mean, to get what? To get a third-round pick? Here it is, the picks in. Imagine they go quarterback.
If based off spot rat or over the cap, if they've designated Cousins as a post June 1st trade, their dead cap would go down to $12.5 million, which makes it possible.
Doesn't make it possible. You still get a dead money the following year.
Who got
Yeah,
picked at
12.5
31?
million.
What
12.5 better than what it was.
Who's that? Okay.
I just mean if he's that unhappy and wants to move.
Who? Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, if he doesn't have post June 1st, that dead cap goes down tremendously.
If he leaves by June 1st, you're saying?
That if you designate him as a post June 1st, because they can get the trade done, they can it's going to be designated post June 1st. Which I don't even fucking like. I don't really understand the concept behind that.
But where are you trading? I mean, Paul said it before, and it makes sense. Like the Raiders, if that was a potential.
I thought Giants all day.
Or yeah, I guess the Giants. I mean,
they just got a receiver. They have some talent on the team. They got a guy in year 3 of his fucking coaching contract. Like you need to make something fucking happen.
Facino, what do you think about that?
I don't think he's going anywhere because it's just like it's. I
Do
don't.
you
It just
think,
seems like a
Kirk
fucking shitty
Cousins goes
situation.
somewhere at this point? Or you?
No,
He's not
Cousins
going anywhere. He's
Cousins
staying.
tore his Achilles.
No, it's
So,
just
at
it's,
the end
it's,
of the
I'm
day-
just talking in theory.
Yeah, I just think it's fine. You need a quarterback, and if you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. So they just made sure that they have a quarterback, and if both quarterbacks pan out, they have a quarterback for the next 12 years. So I think, and I think that there's nothing if you have quarterback play like the Packers have been able to get, and the Falcons had Matt Ryan. They went through 2 years of turmoil, and then they did something like this because, look, you can't sell tickets when you don't have a quarterback. You can't win when you don't have a quarterback.
True.
The culture sucks always when you don't have a quarterback. And, they have this win-now team. I mean, what else do they really need? They have great weapons. They have a good line. They need defense. But you know what? It's an offensive league. So, I don't know. I would have taken Quinyon Mitchell. But what do you think's more valuable, Quinyon Mitchell or Michael Penix if Cousins blows out his
Quinyon
knee?
Mitchell is more valuable.
Yeah, he
So
is.
would you want
He
it?
is.
Would you be okay with your Jacksonville Jaguars drafting a quarterback just in case Trevor Lawrence gets hurt in the first round?
That's completely
No,
different.
but
He's
he's
like
like-
24.
It's not different. You have a
He's
Okay,
24
wait.
and 35.
You have a quarterback that you just gave $140 million.
He's 11 years younger.
But we're talking about Jacksonville ready to win right
All right,
now.
first of all, the owner of the Falcons is
I
beyond
think
rich,
apples
and
and
Kirk Cousins is
pineapples.
going to be 36 coming off an Achilles. So
Rich
if-
doesn't matter. It's
I'm
a salary
sure-
cap. You have to spend
What
money
is it?
regardless.
Yes, but at the
That
same
means-
time, guaranteed money is a wealth, has to do with wealth. That's why the Bengals don't guarantee as much money. You can guarantee money like Woody Johnson, and then what you do is you can restructure and restructure and restructure, and then you can just guarantee that and front load money and give people money, and that's what restructuring is. It's like we're going to give you money now, then we're going to break it out over 2 years. That's how people restructure. But that money has to be, that is upfront money that is paid for by,
That just
owner at
means
that
you have
point in time.
cash
Wait
right
a
now,
second.
but
First,
you
it
have to
doesn't
spend
matter
that
what
money.
you pay guaranteed money. Guaranteed money is what you make, but like that's not free money. That goes against your cap.
Yes,
And when
but
you
when you restructure, you're giving the guy the money immediately, and then that
No.
money, and then you
Or
can
you're pushing
then
it
you
back.
can
No.
well,
Depends
then
how
you
you
can use
restructure.
void years to spread the money out over the next
but
5 or 6
eventually you get
years.
stuck with Buffalo. Doesn't have to cut six
Ah,
guys
there
because
he
you got
goes.
no money.
Yes, yes.
So
That's
it's not
what the-
free money. It's not rich guys going to do it. Like NFL, they're billionaires that own these teams. Like
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? Mickey Loomis has been doing this for a long time with the Saints now.
dude, Jeffrey
Like-
Lurie does it with
Yeah,
the
and
Eagles.
it's like, can they just continue to do it? Is it like
No, it
the
catches
Fed?
up to
Is
you
it like the
eventually.
Federal Reserve? Can you just do it into oblivion and just completely mortgage like future years? Like, is the NFL ever going to stop, like, existing? I guess you could mortgage money into however long they'll allow you to. What is it, like 6 years? Is the most you can? I think it's like
That I don't know.
I think if you sign someone to a 10-year deal, you could like void money out like 6 years into that 10-year deal. So it's like you could void money 16 years into Mahomes' future contract. So
Carolina takes Xavier Legette, wide receiver.
I love
Wait a
this
minute,
guy.
wasn't this kid? Didn't he play running back?
no, he was a receiver.
Well, the Panthers did tell him that if he was
I'm
there in the
thinking about
second round, they're going to draft him. So
I thought Buffalo would get him. I was shocked.
Did the Panthers not have a first round pick this year?
no,
Remember they traded
Bears
for
had
Bryce Young.
Bears drafted Cleve
Oh.
Williams with it. Cleve.
That's cool that they took him because that was like a weird like interaction with the head coach of the Panthers with that. I don't know if did you guys see that? Like,
Why is
That's,
why is there a 33rd? Oh, this is the end of the first round. Okay.
Yeah. Is
Wow.
there it's Canales. That's the coach now, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Did the Islanders win?
no,
They lost.
and the Knicks lost.
God damn. On the Knicks lost?
Yeah,
Fuck, I lost that parlay.
that was a really really good draft. That was awesome.
That was
Like,
fucking wild.
really
What
good
do we
conversation.
think of the first round? This is probably the most exciting first round we've seen in years. This is the most I would say this. This is the most unexpected result of a first round we've ever seen in our lifetimes.
How?
That was crazy.
How?
Yeah.
Well, 6 quarterbacks in
You-
the first 12. It's crazy.
You had
Six
six
quarterbacks
quarterbacks.
Yeah,
in the
but
first
I
12.
think the first like 6, 7
15
picks
picks for
drafted,
offense. Like,
Besides Penix, like everything was like how people projected
The
to go.
first 15 picks were all offense. We didn't see an
No,
edge
I
rusher.
understand it, but what
That's
do we
crazy.
I know, but what
Terry
did you
on
tell
Arnold
me on the
getting-
phone in the morning today? You're like, they're probably going to get a good defensive player because there's going to be a ton of offensive players drafted early.
No, I knew that there would be a ton, but I thought somebody in the top.
Yeah, I thought maybe Turner would
50
go top 10.
Yeah, I
And
thought
probably
there
to
would have been
Atlanta, but then
some.
they were dumb and they took Penix.
Yeah, it's
I think that's
crazy.
pretty
Not
wild.
one. Like, even the Jets. Like, you're gonna take Fashanu, fine, but like, I don't know. Like Quinion, I can't believe that it fell the way it fell. Like, good players went in the 20s, and I think that like not so good
also-
players were drafted earlier. than
I
that.
also think this outside, just looking at the first round picks today, outside of whatever you think about what happened in Atlanta, I also don't agree with what Atlanta did, but I think the Titans drafting J.C. Latham was right after that probably the worst pick. The worst pick of like you had Fuaga was available, Adunze was you had Fashanu was still available. You had so many guys available, and you took a 360-pound tackle that still got overpowered, that still got beat around the edge. I don't understand that. The Titans, what the fuck are you doing? You cut Taylor Lewan and literally left. Or you told him to clean out his locker, and then when he didn't, you put everything in black garbage bags and left it at his fucking front door. That is a trash move. You're proving yourself to be a trash organization.
Who
And
you
that's
talking
a
about here?
if the Tennessee Titans this was the best offensive line draft we've seen in years, and you took the one guy that looked, I think, fucking horrific. I don't get it. I don't get it one bit. Listen, my Chargers take, I could be wrong. At the end of the day, Joe Alt is going to be Joe Alt. I'm debating Joe Alt's ceiling. Joe Alt's floor is he's going to be a very solid tackle. I don't have an issue with that. Like, okay, maybe I think certain guys are better. That's fine. The Titans, you had the world at your fingertips, and you chose the worst of them. You chose the worst of them. Of all the top guys, you chose the worst. I would have accepted Mims. Who played 12 games in 2 years because his upside is there. The guy's a brick wall. He's solid like a rock. Fine. I would have accepted that. You took a 360-pound guy from I don't get it. So, yes, the Atlanta pick is crazy to me. The crazier pick is Tennessee. I don't know what the fuck. And listen, Facino, I get what you're saying with Brock Bowers, but Fashanu is a great pick. He'll be a starter for you at some point, whether it's at guard or at tackle. So, and you're protecting Aaron Rodgers. I still think that was fine. The Bears, I know we had some disagreement, Paul, with the Bears taking Odunze, but Odunze's a great receiver. I think his game will translate to the NFL. Like, that makes sense. Denver taking Bo Nix, I don't like it, but like other experts liked it. So okay, maybe I'm crazy on that. The Raiders taking Bowers, that makes sense. The Colts taking Latu, that makes sense. The Saints, to me, got a fucking steal. The Saints got a steal taking Taliz Fuaga. I
You guys
think
remember, they're asking Dunes to be their third receiver. He's going to get favorable matchups his entire year.
There's an out in the Kirk Cousins deal after 26. So worst case scenario, so this is what would happen. Either Kirk Cousins plays out all 3 years and then he's gone. So it's really a 3-year deal that he signed, essentially is what happened tonight. And then there's dead cap of $25 million if they trade him
No, it's automatically there.
June 1st on 2020 in 2026. So if they pre-June him on 26, they would lose 25 against the cap. If they traded him post June 1st, I'm sure it would be half of that, I guess. I don't know what it would wind up being, but it does seem like in 2 years they could get out of the Cousins deal. In 3 years they can easily get out of the Cousins deal with 12-5 dead, and Penix is going to get at least a year.
So wait, can I ask you?
Play.
So there's $90 million guaranteed. I believe that no matter if they trade him or he's on the thing, there's $25 million. The way I saw it, hold on, let me pull this up. There's
what are you
dead
looking at,
money
Paul, over the cap.
I'm looking at Spot Track.
There's dead money no matter what happens, because that's when they're putting his bonus money. The check they cut him, they're putting it for 2026 and I believe 2027. Hold on, where the fuck is?
And also, while you guys are looking into this, I also gotta commend the Seattle Seahawks here. They were in a weird spot at 16. I didn't know what they were going to do. I also thought they were going to take Jackson Powers Johnson. I was wrong. They took Byron Murphy out of Texas. That was a great pick. Byron Murphy was a great D tackle for Texas. He's been climbing through the ranks all throughout the season. He was another guy who was expected to go earlier because of the run on offense. He didn't. I think the Seahawks got a great pick in Byron Murphy at 16. Great pick. And also, as much as I hate Minnesota, taking Turner there at 17, trading up with Jacksonville, I think that was awesome. And Minnesota had a bunch of picks. Move. Minnesota had a bunch of picks going into the draft, so I don't know what they gave up with Jacksonville. And it seems like Jacksonville, I mean, from your end here, Festino, Jacksonville still got what they wanted. So,
yeah, Jacksonville did. I'm reading it as $120 million paid out to him through 26. But he has a roster bonus in 26, so he's not going to get that. So it's 112 or 110 million paid to him through 26, and then if they cut him,
Yeah, so at the 180, he's down to 160 if he's not on the roster. If he's cut or traded before 2026, so it's 160 essentially without the roster bonuses.
Well, hopefully he gets a
Yeah.
contract extension.
yeah,
Because he wins the Super Bowl.
hey, look, that would be great, and then they could always trade him. I mean, if you traded him and he was 38 to the Jets because Rodgers retired, like that's like a win-win for the Jets and the Falcons.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I don't
Listen,
know.
I'm gonna get out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah,
I'm
All right,
out
guys.
tonight.
Yeah,
All right.
nice to meet you, Poke
All right,
Boy.
you too,
and
guys.
Patrick.
All right.
Adios, brother.
Nice
Take care,
talking.
guys. Bye.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. This was a tremendous success. Thank you to everybody that commented. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody that retweeted and posted. We appreciate it. I guess this is now an annual thing. We're going to keep doing it at Sunny Days Media, so this was awesome. Thank you, everyone. And I guess we'll probably do something in the next couple of weeks talking about getting into the NFL, because I guess now we're all right back into the NFL. So stay tuned on our social media, and we will put out something for you. We're gonna have to at this point. So thank you, everybody, and hopefully you're happy with your draft, and we'll catch up with you in the next coming weeks.